I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today. We are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes, but if you would like to get on the list for a personal reading today, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway will be a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes, so make sure that you're tapping that screen. We will be getting to 50K in no time. The other reading giveaway we'll be doing today is a reading giveaway for the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck if you're participating in that giveaway as well. Prior to beginning today's daily collective, I will be giving a brief recap on what we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. If you would like to find that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my stack. But before we begin, first and foremost, most important question, how are you doing today? Scale of 1 to 10, there are no wrong answers. We are continuing through this energetic cycle. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're seeing in it. One of the things I like to describe that we often experience, right? And we just have to kind of characterize the fact that there are certain experiences that we just have to move through. When we come out of a Capricorn new moon energy, right into, like, with all of that intensity of the Capricorn, like not just the energy being within the new moon that is happening within Capricorn, but the moon itself being in the sign of Capricorn. I often describe that when we have a lot of that double layering to a certain extent, it can almost give a feeling that is very akin to an eclipse, right? It's the observation, and what often happens during eclipse cycles, there's an amplification of the way that we energetically feel about things. And the reason that we effectively see that new moon in Capricorn that we just went through felt so similar to an eclipse has a lot to do with the fact that while we were navigating it, we were also going through the experience by which Jupiter was in Cancer and Uranus is in Taurus. That can create a lot of hypersensitivity, and also in relationality to frustration towards the direction that things feel like they are going. Being able to navigate things with a sense of proportionality, pacing, taking lots of breaks right now, being able to effectively communicate your feelings in ways that feel like they are productive and positive, this is going to be very helpful right now. What you want to avoid, okay, and we always talk about this when we navigate into Aquarius season, making sure that you're not zoning out. Make sure that you're not disassociating. Make sure that you're not going too heavily into the liminal space. One of the reasons I'm really stressing that right now is due to the fact that while we're going into this Aquarian season, we also see the fact that Neptune is about to station out of Pisces into Aries. And that can often, do a number on our feelings, particularly and especially in relationality to how we feel about the past. Now, the beautiful thing is when we're working through a lot of this type of path work, it allows the observation in being able to effectively recognize how far we've come. Now, the hard part that we're effectively identifying there as well, though, and we're going to probably continue to feel this for the duration of Uranus that is stationing right now in retrograde in Taurus. One of the things I want to point out is that energy, right? Uranus is often an energy that is working through, right, our own uniqueness, or working through the change that we hope to apply towards ourselves. And if you're feeling like you're in a bit of an energetic rut right now, I'm going to tell you that the two forces that we see that are both in retrograde, right? Jupiter that it's in retrograde in Cancer, right? Working on the sensitivity of the egoic self in combination with that energy that is retrograding in Taurus, Uranus retrograding in Taurus, feeling the energetic limitation in terms of where you are versus where you aspire or desire to be. It can get frustrating. It can really make us feel energetically hyper focused, potentially and particularly upon what we may define as flaws. Now, one of the things that we see, though, and this is what we often talk about, and this is what we have to be conscientious of with so many planets that are currently in Aquarius as we enter Aquarius season. What are the planets that we effectively see that are in Aquarius right now? We've got Venus, right? We've got Mercury and we've got Mars now there. But what is between those planets right now? We've also got Pluto there. And Pluto in Aquarius is something that we've been navigating for quite some time. But it often works through, and I like to describe this, and we're going to kind of keep on going through this as Pluto's in Aquarius, right? The ability to navigate one's fears, right? Allows the fears not to pop up in weird places. That's basically like the best way I could describe it is because here's the thing about it. I love this because I like to describe, I often like to describe Aquarius energy as like the cloud, right? Or like in a way it's like the cloud, or it's a place by which you keep things, right? And this is what, and I want you to kind of think about this like this, when often we're not wanting to work on something, right? When we're in the space by which we're not energetically comfortable working on something, we're like, I'll just put this back here, right? I'll just put it back here. Nobody will see it. It'll be fine. But then what happens, right? What happens on those things that we don't address? They accumulate, right? And they end up in weird places. And then we can't find them when we're looking for them, right? So I want you to and I think that this is what we often recognize. Like when we think about that in proximity or in combination to the work that we do in related to shadow work, right? Like working through our own anxieties or working through our own fears, that ability of being able to, and this is why we talk about like healthy fear, like everything we have is a gift, and fear is a gift as well, because fear effectively wants to fortify our energetic direction. Like when we're applying the correct amount of application to our fear fortifies direction, which is the observation of being able to recognize and identify something, but to work through it in a way that feels like it energetically stabilizes the self. But what happens in the modality by which you're working through a lot of fear and you don't know what to do with it? You tuck it back into the unconscious, and then boom, 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 boom. It's here, it's there, it's everywhere. You turn around and everywhere you look, there's that fear that feels like it's energetically presenting itself to you. So if you're feeling like that right now, I want you to make sure that you're doing a lot of work in being able to articulate and communicate upon what feels energetically real, right? What feels like an energetically real work versus something that one is working to heal from. And I'm saying that specifically because particularly as we have a lot of this energy in Neptune that pushes up into Aries, it's a continuation of the conversation in relationality to the force of our intention, but not just the force of our intention, the space by which we apply energetic care to things, right? The way that we effectively communicate our care, or the force of our intention by which we're able to effectively articulate and express the full span of what we're feeling. Now, this is having a different impact depending on where one finds oneself on the frequency cycles. And we're going to start first. We're going to talk a bit about what we were reading for yesterday, which was breaking down masculine, feminine, and non-binary energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. You can find that full podcast over on my Stack and Spot. For a lot of the masculine energy right now, we see that this could be a time of deep exploration or investigation of one's internal emotionality. For a lot of the masculine energy, I feel like there's a lot of masculine energy that is working to dispel the false premise that in order to embody masculine, that masculine requires one to be able to effectively have to dissociate from one's emotional self, right? That's not effectively true. Stoicism is not disassociation. Stoicism is the ability, because you don't get stronger in not being able to feel something. And in fact, the limitation that one creates for oneself when one is in that space of effectively like trying to disassociate does not create the opportunity of another of the self becoming strong and being able to bear one's emotions. So I feel like a lot of the masculine energy is doing that work to be very present in the space of the emotions. But it's not easy because, and this is what we talk about, and we often experience this when we go into Aquarius season, like the ability when one is trying to become strong, but you've learned how to disassociate before becoming strong in your emotional awareness, the desire to disassociate is never stronger than in those modalities or experiences by which you're feeling the full span or scope of one's emotions. It's also a conversation on understanding the nuance in terms of what it means to effectively honor emotions, right? Honoring emotions does not mean going in the direction that the emotions desire any moment to the next, right? Because what often happens when we allow the emotions to overcome the self, or we allow the emotions to try to guide oneself, we lose empathy, right? Because in the modality by which we feel all of our emotions, and we rush ahead with our emotionality without being energetically empathic and present for the feelings of those around the self, it can often create those modalities or experiences by which we recognize or have to navigate the space by which we understand and explore the emotionality of others. So I feel like there's a lot of masculine energy that is working upon being patient through their emotions, right? And we see there that that is the patience, right? The patience that gives indication of progress. Because when we're patient and we're progressive, we're able to navigate things from a sense of proportionality. So we just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, it's hard, right? And it's almost like, I want to say, like, it's almost like I feel like it's a lot of that type of energy. It's like a lot of that, like wanting to dash forward, and then just kind of like building into that sense of like balance, right? We see that that's a lot of the energy doing that work, and potentially even having some modalities right now of potentially looking back upon past experiences and being able to understand, right, that often the trauma that we create around others is the space by which we rush forward with our emotions without the consideration of how it may impact or affect those around us. While we see for feminine energy right now, I feel like for a lot of the feminine energy, this is a lot of the energy that is focused or building into the context of recognizing and identifying what it, like what the word, like I keep on hearing there's like a space by which um masculine is working upon deeply understanding the word vulnerability, right? And understanding that vulnerability is the energetic strength point, because it's the ability to effectively identify our vulnerability that makes us feel energetically safe to those around us. While for feminine energy, we keep on seeing that for a lot of the feminine energy doing that work, the ability or the capacity to work into the space of, I keep on hearing like working into the context of being able to energetically heal, particularly and especially in relationality to circumstances and situations by which they themselves understand the property or value of what emotions are for. And I keep on getting that for a lot of the feminine energy, they're recognizing that emotions don't necessarily fix things. Emotions are not meant to be in the space of fixing things. We discern, we utilize emotions, we apply emotions to things to be able to energetically discern what feels like it's energetically expansive or possible, right? The modality by which we're able to articulate upon that investiture of emotionality versus those experiences or circumstances or situations by which we try to put emotionality towards something, and we often get frustrated at ourselves, right? And this is often the space that we see the work that we understand or work through is that when you are trying to apply emotions to something to fix things, emotions can only fix things in the space by which those emotions are met with are met with empathy, right? Which is connecting to what we see that a lot of the masculine energy is working on. And so for a lot of the energy of the feminine, like working through that, like building into that pathwork of healthy discernment and in utilizing or integrating that point of discernment into the work that they're effectively facilitating, we see that a lot of the energy of the feminine is doing that healthy work in relationality to, and I keep on saying, being able to articulate upon their feelings more in order to effectively have their needs met, right? It's the observation that our emotions become fortified when they have directions attached to them. So that's a lot of the feminine that is effectively identifying and doing that work. And in the space by which they do so, they're able to identify or recognize the reciprocity that it is in itself met with. For a non-binary energy right now, we see that this is a lot of the energy that is potentially working through or the coming into the observation of being able to recognize and identify, like, and I feel like it's a very deep time of healthy, of like working through catharsis. And I think for a lot of the non-binary energy, what we were reading for was the observation or the energetic frustration in relationality to being able to effectively trying to work through putting a sense of proximity or putting a sense of integration into things. And what are we effectively seeing in a lot of those capacities or a lot of those modalities or experiences? For a lot of the energy doing that work, that observation, in relationality to doing so is helping the not like the energy effectively recognize and identify the full scope or weight of what it is that they're working to effectively navigate. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of that energy that is seeing the full shape of the trauma by which they themselves have experienced, because I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, the ability to try to work into a space of harmony, often being in the space of being able to carry the empathy of the self, but also being very attenuated to the empathic space of those around the self. Sometimes that can create experiences by which the energy feels like it's often in the space of effectively giving and giving and giving forth, right? But not being in the modality by which they themselves also come into the space of energetically receiving, right? So there's a lot of that. I keep wondering, there's a lot of that, there's a lot of that healthy give and take that we observe there. But even in the modality by which we recognize that healthy give and take, I feel like this is the energy that is working better at building into the sense of energetic stabilization. But even in the space by which they're working through that sense of stabilization, they're honoring themselves like they never have before. And in the modality by which they're honoring themselves by like they ever have before, they're recognizing and identifying their more, right? And what is their more? Their more is the space, and I keep on hearing they're working through the frustrating paradox of the fact that often in the space by which one is trying to work to facilitate doing something in a different way, you have to effectively step forth to do so. But even in the space by which one steps forth to do so, it's often the misinterpretation in relationality to how that is seen, but also kind of working into the space of recognizing that when one is doing that work, the perception of another, how another person perceives one facilitating upon that, tells one all one needs to know in relationality to what one is able to effectively identify that one is working through versus what another person is trying to heal from. So I just keep on getting that that's a lot of the energy that's working heavily into the space of feeling confident and knowing themselves to be able to discern upon what feels like an energetic projection that is directed to them versus who they themselves know themselves to be. Now that is where we find all of the energy prior to beginning today's Daily Collective. But if you'd like to find that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my Stack. I would also encourage you to head over to my Stack to learn more about a very special retreat that I'll be hosting this August. I would like to invite you to join me August 8th through 13th as we will be traveling to Italy to explore the tarot in the land by which the tarot was first documented to be discovered. We will be sharpening our tarot skills, and everyone who participates in that retreat will not only be receiving one-on-one classes with me, but will also be available to receive a mentorship class where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize the retreat to the best of your advantage moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do with these classes is make them accessible to the one of the things I'm trying to do with this retreat is effectively make it accessible to anybody on any level. Don't allow your lack of experience in tarot or your robust experience to prevent you from joining us on this trip. And if you sign up this month, you will also receive an additional $200 discount on your retreat package. You can learn more about that over on my Stack. I'd also invite you to head over to my Stack to learn more about the next class that we'll be hosting in our Tarot Church class series. We are going to be moving away from the major arcana and going into a deep dive on the Court of Sword cards. We will be studying the symbology in that card, the history of the cards. I'll also be showing you spread applications, how to read those cards in any direction they may appear in your own readings. And I'll also be showing you a very unique spread that will help you channel the messages of the Sword Suite into your own readings. You'll be able to find all of that information over on my Stack. And if you'd like to participate in those classes, your monthly subscription to that retreat, to my Stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I'll do my best to give you guys an update on everything we've studied prior to beginning those classes. But if you wanted to catch up, now is a great time to join. You got a good few weeks before we have our next class. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the whole year's worth of classes, but you'll also receive access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. You will also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me if you choose to receive it, where, as I mentioned, I'll meet with you to be able to assess where you are on your journey and give you insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things I tried to do with these is, again, make them accessible to the absolute novice as well as the professional reader. And I would also encourage you that even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Stack, to encourage you to follow me there to be able to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my mystic meditations there, which give you updates on everything we've been seeing energetically in the cards in article form. I just wrote one on navigating this new moon energy that we just experienced. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for these sessions, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. And I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation readings, which can be purchased per dream or as a series. If you purchase the dream series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. That said, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read, but if you'd like to get on the list for today, the list is open. You will be the second person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. Jacques, thank you for joining us today. Grand Rising Heather, good to see you. Welcome, Bridget, good to see you as well. And thank you as well. Welcome, Beckon. Oh, that's so kind of you to say, as does yours. And I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day as well. And channeling, thank you for those heart me's, guys. Please remember to recharge your heart me's if you would like an animal spirit guide card on top of your one card. Also, make sure to give channeling some love. I love the work you're doing on that new tarot deck. Good to see you as well, Queen of Swords. Aquarius, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Uranus here. I know it's a lot. Super popular. Absolutely. Grand Rising, Estevan, and Nikki, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Hope you're having an absolutely beautiful day today, Estevan. Grand Rising, Ella, good to see you as well. And Lucas, thank you so much for sharing the live. Deeply, deeply appreciated. And as I mentioned, friends, Adam, good to see you too. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Thank you for sharing the live. Grand Rising Avatar, thank you for reposting, Wild Guy. I appreciate you too. And thank you so much, Jean, for the follow. Hi, how are you doing today, Jay? As I mentioned, friends, those are your placements. I mean, you know, the thing I want to describe right now, I feel like we're going to continue through this. The word to navigate right now is equilibrium. You know, that we saw that coming through very heavily in yesterday's read. I'm already getting insights in terms of like what we're going to find in today's read. We are still doing, but like one of the things especially as well right now is, I just need to stress this, like the thing with all of these planets currently in Aquarius is, I want to describe, it can be hard to reach for things, right? It can sometimes create those frustration points in relationality to effectively like what we're trying to say or how we're trying to communicate it. So just being able to kind of navigate situations with a sense of proportionality or effectively, like I want to describe it as taking one's time to articulate upon something instead of getting into the space of getting very frustrated with the self. Like that's going to be something that we're going to be working through a lot during this path work. I love the opening message. It resonated, working on my stoicism. Good to hear that, Estevan. I hope you're having a beautiful day. My friends, we do have 2 giveaways happening today. The first one is when we get to 50K likes, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen and we will get to 50K in no time. The other giveaway we're going to be doing today is a giveaway for the highest gifter on the clock app between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. Currently, that spot is being held by Avatar. Thank you so much for those beautiful gifts, Avatar. And also, before we get started, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the bull. Thank you guys for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. And also just a reminder, if anybody wants to get on the list right now, it's a beautiful time to get on the list. You will be the second person read for. Also, if you are on the hold list and would like to be added back to the list, simply let me know the date that you are added to the hold list, and I'll be happy to add you back as well. I was going to say you were kind of close, Lucas. All right, my friends, as I mentioned, we are going to get started on today's Daily Collective. If you guys could do me a favor and share this live, I would appreciate it. Make sure anyone who would like to catch this reading live is here to receive it. I'm afraid, official, that I don't do medical readings. So and I would encourage you to make sure that you're getting medical support if that's occurring. Sending you so much support on that journey. That said, no better time than the present. Why don't we get started? Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday, January 23rd, 2026. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first 2 cards in our 5-card spread? First 2 cards we are starting our day off with today are the Page of Cups in its reversal, in combination with our King of Pentacles in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about the energy that we're effectively seeing right now, because something that we're noticing that is very important has to do with working through the context of being able to articulate or amplify the full force or weight of our own energetic intentions. Now, one of the things that we see that's often occurring, particularly as it relates to Aquarian energy is working into this space of identifying and recognizing our own our own sense of energetic stabilization. There's a lot of vulnerability that we're effectively identifying or recognizing that is happening right now in the shape of the sense of the self. Now, why are we effectively identifying upon that? Because a lot of that work that we are effectively seeing is working into, it's a continuation point of working into that Jupiter in Cancer in retrograde, right? It's the observation or the understanding of working through energetic vulnerability, but not just the space of working through vulnerability. It's the recognition of understanding the vulnerability that effectively allows for the space by which we're able to effectively help another person, like energetically see ourselves, right? It's difficult, right? It's heavy. It's working into that space of it's working on the space of the it's working into the space of the clarification of the heart space. And so one of the things that we see here, particularly with the Page of Cups in its reversal, in combination with the King of Pentacles in its reversal, it continues us through that observation of being able to facilitate upon or to experience those modalities, circumstances, or situations by which we're able to effectively articulate upon how we feel about things. And I want to describe, and there's something really beautiful that I will point out that we may be finding right now that occurs as we're moving through this Aquarian energy. And the best way I can describe it is Aquarian energy often helps us recognize the force of like the shape of beauty in relationality to our own I like to describe the like our own flow state is what is the best way to describe it, right? Because when we find an energetic flow state, and this is what's hard, and I want to kind of stress this because it's a continuation of understanding what happens, like why do we like the space by which we do something over and over and over again. And when you first start doing something, it feels impossible, right? When you first start doing something, you don't know how you're doing it. And then you do it again and again and again and again. And as you continue to do it, you start to build into that energetic smoothness point, right? It becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of the self that one understands intrinsically. And then what's beautiful about that is once you're able to find that flow state, that others are able to effectively attenuate upon it as well, right? It's the gift that we effectively give each other in relationality to the ability to articulate or define upon the things that have significance to us, but not just the things that have significance to us, the things that we apply our energetic force of attention towards that allow like the absolute beautiful transformation of the self in the process of going through those, facilitating upon those modalities or experiences. And it's not easy, right? It's energetically frustrating. It can sometimes create those modalities or experiences by which we navigate or we feel our own frustration in terms or in relation to our own doubting of the self. And that's the one thing I want to kind of like articulate or expand upon, right? Those modalities or experiences, and I like to point this out, like a healthy heart space is often a heart space that is in a perpetual state of doubt, right? Because when we're working to fortify our hearts, we're constantly being very, very conscientious of them, right? We're constantly being in the space by which we question ourselves or we question our own abilities. But that's why I want to kind of, and if you're feeling the weight of that right now, I want you to remember, I really want you to hold on to the fact of understanding that our like it has to do with the sense of our own genuineness or the genuineness that we bring to others that feels like an energetic gift. So working into that right now, I feel like those are the words that we're effectively working through during this Aquarian season, right? It's working into the space by which we feel, right, that sense of we feel that sense of genuineness and vulnerability, but also in the space by which we identify that genuineness and vulnerability, we allow the ability to effectively move something forward within ourselves even further, right? And that's what's hard about it, because when you're building into genuineness, you have to be able to confront the vulnerability of the self in the process. Now, that is really important right now, because as we articulated, we're entering into a new relationship cycle right now. And that new relationship cycle that we see that is occurring are giving strong indications of being energy that is working through world lessons, right? And these are lessons that we see demarcated in the world card of the tarot. And what do those messages bring us? They bring us the space of being able to identify and recognize, right? The modality by which we're able to identify and recognize that the space by which we're able to do multiple things is often the articulation or the description of being able to effectively recognize or identify how to effectively find, right? How to find our truest voice, or how to find our truest self that allows the modality by which we ourselves are able to amplify or articulate what is energetically possible, right? It's a lot of that. I keep on hearing it's a lot of that modality or that experience by which we're able to expand and expound upon something. And then even in the process by which we expand and expound upon it, we arrive, right? We arrive into the deeper understanding and exploration of our energetic relationships and connections. And so that's what we effectively see that is occurring right now. This is the energy, right? This is the energy that we see that is coming into healthy relationship right now. And what are those modalities that we are effectively articulating upon? We're either seeing modalities or experiences, right? Wherein we are identifying and recognizing the state or the shape by which we ourselves are working upon an observation of what it is that we're working through, right? Like this is the energy, that articulates, like they start at their vulnerability point, right? They start at their vulnerability point. They start at the modality by which they themselves feel the most energetically insecure or the most energetically uncertain. But in the modality by which they're doing that, they're building into the healthy connection by way of being able to articulate and recognize the force or the shape of their own energetic intention, right? So there's a lot of that. I keep on seeing there's a lot of that expansiveness there. There's a lot of that energy that feels, right? It feels very much like it's taking that effective approach by which something is able to work towards the space of healthy growth. But like even in that modality or experience, we just keep on seeing that these relationships, right? Like it's almost like the energy, like the relationships are starting, like they're starting with the deep dive of the self, right? That's where they're starting with, which is again, right? Like that's like it's the deep dive of the self that leads to the point of personal expansiveness. Now, this is bringing us into those the moon relationships. And the moon relationships were effectively coming together. They were effectively coming together between the time. They were coming together between the time of the Capricorn new moon energy that we just experienced up until the time of Uranus stationing direct earlier this fall. Center card for today's spread. We have here the Eight of Cups in its upright. And so what are we seeing right now with that Eight of Cups energy in its upright? The Eight of Cups energy in its upright walks us through modalities or experiences by which we recognize or identify um, the shape or the direction by which we feel energetically fortified. And everything I keep on seeing with a lot of these moon relationships is I feel like it's a continuation of a conversation based upon and built upon the ability, and I love to see this right now because for a lot of those moon relationships, um, the ability to identify, right? The ability to identify a personal hurdle often articulates or allows the ability to navigate and extrapolate upon how we're able to effectively do something in a better way. And what's really beautiful about that is for a lot of those, I keep on getting, for a lot of those moon relationships, that that observation or that capacity of understanding, I just keep on seeing that these are relationships that are working into, right? They're working into the context of personal understanding. And even in the context by which they're working into that space of personal understanding, I just keep on seeing this observational point, right? There's this observational point that we're recognizing that is, and I love this because, and I often, like, I want to stress this, especially with this Eight of Cups energy that we see here, um, this card can often feel very energetically ubiquitous, right? There's often that space by which we see this card and we wonder about the ubiquity of the card. But the modality of understanding, the force of our energetic intention, is the modality by which I keep on hearing we don't feel the necessity point in being able to effectively articulate or expand or expound upon something in a way that feels energetically off, right? And that's what I keep on getting. That's what I keep on getting with a lot of that's what I keep on getting with a lot of these energetic connections. There's almost this observation that we're seeing there, specifically as it relates to working into a modality or experience by which we can effectively understand or recognize um, the space by which we are effectively working through. And I like this too, because for some of these relationships, I feel like for some of these relationships that have been coming together during that time, you'll have to remember I told you that these were the relationships that were coming together during that retrograde cycle. So there was a lot of rockiness there, right? Like a lot of rockiness or working through a lot of that frustration. But I keep on identifying that for a lot of the relationships, not getting into the space by which another person feels like it's like the energy that works towards observation as it relates to the energetic appreciation or consideration that we put forth towards things is all I keep on seeing, right? Like that's a lot of that energy that I'm almost identifying that we're recognizing and seeing there, right? It almost like I feel like it's the energy that it's the energy that observes, right? It's the energy that observes consideration, but also observes hard work. And the work that they do it's the work that they do for one another that allows for that energetic smoothness to occur, right? There's a lot of that calibration or a lot of that articulation as it relates to the piece that they're building forth. And so I actually feel like for a lot of those relationships, they're finally reaching a point by which they can finally start to enjoy the fact that they're moving into partnership. Now, for the fourth and fifth cards in our 5-card spread today, 2 cards to clarify. We've got here the Queen of Pentacles in its upright in combination with our 6 of Cups in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing in relationality to the Queen of Pentacles with the 6 of Cups in its reversal. The Queen of Pentacles, and this is moving us into those temperance relationships. And those temperance relationships were effectively coming together between the time of, they were coming together between the time of Uranus stationing retrograde up until the solstice period that we had this summer. For a lot of these relationships right now, I feel like the frustration point that they're effectively arriving to has a lot to do with the modality or the experience of um, working through the observation of trying to effectively apply time in the best way possible is what I keep on seeing. And there's something I need to, if you are, again, if you are a tarot nerd, I would strongly encourage you to make sure that you head over today's spread, because one of the things that we see in this first 5 card spread today that's very energetically important is we see the observation of both the King of Pentacles in its reversal with the Queen of Pentacles in its upright. Now, this is really energetically important. And why do we see that this is important? Because I know, like, one thing we identify that's beautiful in relationality to counterpart systems is the counterpart systems do not always need to be in the same modality, right? That's why they're counterparts. It's actually, sometimes it's better when we see the observation of one being in its reversal and one being in its upright, because it's the articulation of being able to understand what it means, like what it means to effectively attenuate to something, right? The observation of being able to, like, when one person is feeling, like, again, it's the observation of, like, when one person is feeling energetically tired, another person can effectively step forth, right? It's a lot of that healthy give and take. And so this is what we effectively see that's happening right now for a lot of those temperance relationships. It's the observation, right? It's the observation and consideration of the healthy give and take that we effectively identify and work upon with one another that allows the observation of being able to energetically facilitate. So that's all I keep on hearing in relationality or in terms of those connections, right? Healthy give and take that allows the ability to effectively facilitate. So everything we keep on seeing there, it's beautiful. I feel like it's beautiful and it's energetically harmonious. But the hard part about that I'm potentially seeing is working through the modality of, and I keep on getting this with a lot of that, like, this is what I keep on seeing with a lot of those temperance relationships. And I would not be surprised if some of these temperance relationships right now are working through, like, working through the modality or the experience, um, by which one is able to effectively recognize or identify how, I keep wondering, recognize or identify, um, the ability, like the ability to effectively, um, like, it has to do with navigating others' projections. Like, that's what I keep on seeing that's happening right now for a lot of those temperance relationships. And I just want to describe, like, this is why something about that may be feeling energetically painful, because when you're doing work, like, I just keep on hearing, like, and when you're doing work to effectively try to facilitate everything energetically possible, right? And then even in the modality, like, this is actually a continuation. I need to stress this. This is a continuation of what we were effectively seeing that was occurring for some of the feminine energy in some of our daily collectives over the last few months, which is the observation of when you're moving into the modality of effectively doing everything energetically possible to try to work as comprehensively as possible is all I keep on saying. So when you're in that space by which you're working as effectively and comprehensively as possible, but even in the modality, right? Even in the modality by which you're working through that space of functionality and comprehension, feeling those modalities or those experiences by which we recognize or identify the space or the shape by which another person energetically projects upon us. I keep on getting that that's a lot of the energy that is building into, right? Like I feel like that's just the energy that's kind of working through the observation that moments like that are more the gift is information is what I keep on hearing, right? The gift is information. And why is the gift information? Because the gift is the observation of being able to see or identify circumstances or experiences by which one is like the energy doesn't feel like the space by which we ourselves don't feel like we are seen in the capacity by which we ourselves want to be, like it's the space by which we're working. So I feel like that's a lot of the energy that's kind of working through that. And I feel like there's a little bit of that, like there's a little bit of that exposition towards working through frustration, but even in the modality by which they're expressing it, they're finding that feeling of that sense of energetic stabilization. Now continuing to get clarification between our Page of Cups in its reversal and our King of Pentacles in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with that Fool card in its reversal. So what are we effectively seeing right now with the Fool card in its reversal? The Fool card in its reversal, I typically am not, so I like to see the Fool card in its reversal to a certain extent, because the Fool card in its reversal is working through, and this is what I mean about some of these world relationships, right? The ability to navigate into, like, the space by which we move towards manifestation. It's not the journey by which we seek something. It's not the journey by which we look upon something. It's the journey by which we effectively embody it, right? Like we arrive, like we come into this space, right? And this is what we talk about with healthy manifestations, right? You don't seek them. You energetically become them, right? You work into the space of being able to recognize and identify what that value or what that point of energetic stabilization is. So everything I keep on seeing that is occurring in those modalities or experiences is building into, I keep wondering, it's building into articulating and defining upon what feels like a healthy, energetic center. And what's beautiful about that is I feel like for a lot of those relationships that are coming together right now, it's the observation that one doesn't necessarily need to be perfect in order to facilitate moving into healthy partnership connection. But it's the energy that recognizes or identifies what it is, like how one is being able to be energetically productive, right? It's a lot of that observation, right? And I feel like in a way, you know, like this is the energy that is effectively like identifying what the shape of that work is. And I want to describe for some of that energy, it is also requiring like the space of being able to step out of their comfort zone, right? We're gonna be talking a lot about this. Like this is what we talk about with Uranus and Taurus, right? The only way to find a healthy comfort zone, a bigger comfort zone, is to be able to step out from the one that we feel energetically comfortable within. So we see that that's a lot of the shape that's being identified in a lot of that path work right now. But even in the modality by which we see that, I keep on getting like, and I want to describe these relationships, right? Like it's almost saying to me, like it's a little bit goes a long way kind of energy, right? It's the energy, it's the energy that like understands. And I like to see this with these relationships because this is either energy that's working into the context of the self, right? Energy in solitude, saying, pushing upon the self in the best way possible, right? Pushing upon oneself in the best way possible, but not trying to escape the self, right? While at the same time, we see that for a lot of these relationships that are coming together, that is the force or that is the intention by which they themselves are experiencing one another, right? The almost like the attenuated observation of another, like I keep wondering the attenuated observation of another, carefully like moving out of their comfort zone is what I keep on seeing. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our King of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Eight of Cups in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with our Judgment card in its reversal. So what are we effectively seeing with that Judgment card in its reversal? The Judgment card in its reversal speaks to us upon circumstances and situations by which, and I want to describe this here, and this is bringing us back into those moon relationships, right? Because the moon relationships are effectively articulated and attenuated upon the space by which we recognize or identify the uncertainty, right? It's like working through the energetic uncertainty of the self. But this is what we identify, and this is what we talk about with vulnerability, right? Like this is what's beautiful about some of those moon relationships. These are relationships, these are relationships that own their vulnerability, right? Because it's a continuation of understanding that the space by which we own our vulnerability becomes our strong suit, right? The more that we're able to effectively own our vulnerability, the stronger that we energetically become. And so I keep on getting, this is the energy that's going, owning vulnerability, not going numb. Owning vulnerability, not going numb, which is the modality or the experience by which they're allowing themselves, right? And this is what I keep on getting, right? They're allowing themselves to feel vulnerable, right? They're allowing those modalities or experiences by which they allow that vulnerability. Like I keep wondering, like lead forth with the vulnerability, but in a way it almost feels like kind of like an into the breach situation as it relates to navigating that vulnerability, because it's a work that I see that the energy is facilitating, right? In being able to articulate upon something that I feel like in the past they may have had a harder time speaking upon, right? Like I keep on getting, it's interesting because it's working, it's a lot of, I keep wondering, it's a lot of healthy conversation and navigating discomfort is what I keep on hearing. But that's how the healing occurs, right? Navigating uncomfortability is how we build into comfortability. And even in the space by which we do that, it allows the expansive point by which we're able to effectively do something even better. So there's a lot of that energy there. While continuing into right now for the energy moving deep into divine union right now. And those are those temperance relationships. Clarification between our Eight of Cups in its upright in combination with our Queen of Pentacles. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Woo! Clarification coming through right now with that Knight of Cups energy in its upright. So what are we effectively seeing with the Knight of Cups in its upright? The Knight of Cups in its upright for the temperance relationships. I just keep on seeing this right now for the Knight of Cups energy. And what's beautiful about it, and I want to stress this because I feel like this is really important. The observation and recognition of another, energetically appreciating, the work, the work that we, I keep wondering, the work that we do for one another is what I keep on getting, right? And it's interesting too, because I actually feel like for some of these relationships right now, this almost feels like, I need to stress, there's something happening right now for some of these temperance relationships where it almost feels like, and I want to describe this, it almost feels like healthy energy supporting into a temperance relationship is what I keep on seeing. You know what I mean? It's so fascinating because there's something about the shape and nature of that work that I'm seeing that this temperance relationship is coming through on, which is and I want to describe this, I just need to, I need to pause on this because it feels like it's coming through really, really strongly. The modality by which, right, and I keep on getting this, the shape, when the best way I can describe this is when another person, I'm going to try to give you the shape of what I'm seeing here. When another person is literally doing everything they possibly can to move with a sense of healthy energetic intention, right? that modality or that experience by which another person is literally in the space by which they're trying to facilitate everything under the sun to be possible. And even in the modality by which another person experiences that, they work into the context, right? Like it's the observation of I keep wondering, like the criticism that often comes towards energy that is working like tirelessly, right? I almost feel like there's something kind of beautiful there, because it almost feels like energy arriving outside of partnership to try to clarify to another, right? The observation of another person's misinterpretation or misintention. Like it really, it feels almost like that. It feels a little bit of that. It almost feels like that space by which, it's like, it almost feels like another person, like protecting the aura of partnership, which is interesting because, and I feel like for some of those temperance relationships, they might not even be aware of something like that energetically occurring, is what I keep on seeing. Like it feels very protective. Is It's very interesting. I'm going to continue to read into it. Moving back, moving back towards the energy that is in solitude. So those world relationships right now. Can I please get one card? Clarification between the Queen of Pentacles and the Six of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. We're seeing here the Chariot card in its reversal. And what are we identifying? Like, what are we identifying with that Chariot card in its reversal? The Chariot card in its reversal, the Chariot card in its reversal for some of that energy right now, I feel like this is a lot of the energy in solitude. I've got two different modalities for the energy in like working through this path work, which is either the energy that is working and learning on not being so hard on themselves, is what I keep on hearing. Like everything I keep on hearing for a lot of these world relationships is the observation that you are never off your path, right? You're even in that modality or that experience by which we ourselves work through something, like the space by which we feel energetically stabilized towards our path work, right? That identification point by which we ourselves identify and recognize the space by which we feel stable. And I keep on getting this. And I think that this is really important, particularly and especially because everything that I'm observing, and it has to do with that continuation of what we articulated related to Jupiter, right? Related to Jupiter related to Jupiter being in Cancer in retrograde. So working through a lot of those observations of feeling or experiencing the energetic sensitivity of self. I keep on getting the modality by which we energetically question ourselves, or the modality or the experience by which we ourselves doubt like our own progress, but the modality by which we effectively continue, right? We just continue through something in a way that builds into that feeling of energetic stabilization, right? Like it says to me, it's almost like the shape of that work that articulates upon or defines everything that we're trying to do, but not just what we're trying to do, the shape or nature of how we energetically do it. And so I keep on getting that's a lot of the energy in solitude that's perpetually building into the space of their own energetic improvement. And I keep on hearing, remember that the continuation of the lesson that we saw for those moon relationships had a lot to do with the observation of the healthy centering of self, right? The healthy centering of self that builds into the context of our own stated sense of intentionality, right? The work that we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it, but also the recognition of what aspects of the self that they adore about the selves versus those spaces or places by which they're healing from others' energetic misconceptions of them. I also see that this is a lot of those relationships that are coming together right now that are building into that context via the stepping out of their comfort zone. Continuing to get clarification, moving into those moon relationships, clarification between our Fool card in its reversal and the Judgment card in its reversal. One card to clarify. We have here the 10 of Cups in its reversal. So what are we seeing in relationality to a lot of that 10 of Cups energy? A lot of that 10 of Cups energy that we're identifying or recognizing has to do, I keep wondering, has to do with the force of intention in relationality to being able to apply the point of energetic consideration towards the space by which we ourselves are working through energetic frustration. And one of the things I keep on seeing in some of this energy right now, like a lot of that, I keep on getting a lot of that energetic frustration has to do with working into the context of I keep on hearing like it's working into the context of like doubting the self, or working into the context of effectively recognizing or working through the energetic limitation that we often feel with energy such as this, right? That modality or circumstance by which we ourselves are trying to facilitate and articulate upon that healthy sense of energetic centering. And everything I keep on seeing in relationality to that force of balance, right? Everything we keep on seeing in that modality or in that experience, it articulates to me that there's something that we see with those moon relationships, which has to do with letting go, right? They're letting go of the trauma of others' misperceptions that is allowing them to effectively step into, right? Like stepping into their own sense of energetic celebration. And I keep on getting a lot of that celebration that we see there. It feels a lot like the work of those moon relationships that are trying to, like, and I want to describe this. This is the energy that often is able to always find, right? Like they're always working to find the energetic positive for one another, right? Like this is what's so beautiful about it. It's a lot of that sense or a lot of that space by which they effectively facilitate and articulate upon everything they try, like everything that they do, but not just everything that they do, the ability of being able to come into that point or valuation of positivity. And even in the modality by which they work into that point of positivity, I just keep on seeing that that's a lot of the energy that's like working into the space of the open heart space, because it's the space by which they're trying to effectively communicate how much they energetically care for one another. And so I feel like that's what's so beautiful about that, because it's a continuation point of a lot of those energetic lessons. It's the ability to effectively articulate and define upon it, but not just, I keep wondering, they're defining upon it so that they can refine upon it, right? They're talking more about the history in relationship that has created the space of disappointment. And what do we see is a lot of the trauma that some of those moon relationships are carrying. The modality by which they often felt that anything they did was not enough, right? Like having to work through the trauma space by which another person doesn't build into, like, I keep wondering, like, doesn't build into the energetic appreciation, but the space by which another was not coming into the recognition of their own ability or capacity to work in that way. And so that's what I keep on getting there. Like there's a lot of that energy that is almost like communicating their relief to one another. And the reason that they're communicating their relief to one another is because they see, right, they see the capacity or the ability by which they're always working towards that energetic positive outcome. Continuing now to those temperance relationships, clarification between our Judgment card in its reversal and the Knight of Cups in its upright. we have here the Four of Cups in its upright. And so what are we seeing there? What are we seeing with the Four of Cups in its upright? The Four of Cups in its upright speaks to us specifically and particularly in relationality to situations or observations of being able, and I have to stress this, there's so many cup energy, there's so much cup energy here. And there's like this whole spread right now. Again, if you like the tarot, make sure that you take a look at today's spread, because it is all cup energy. And the reason we see so much of that cup energy right now is it's building into, or it's working through the circumstance or experience by which we recognize and navigate situations and circumstances in the space by which we energetically, like the space by which we energetically recognize or we attenuate upon something in such a way that allows for the capacity of energetic growth to occur. And I want to just show you this because I kind of love I love the synchronization point, right? I absolutely adore the synchronization point of combining the Eight of Cups with the Four of Cups in its upright. And why do I love the synchronization point between the Eight of Cups and the Four of Cups? Because the Eight of Cups, right? The Eight of Cups is missing a cup, right? This is the cup that's missing, right? And this is the cup that's found, okay? I love to see these two cards together because the interplay of these cards is often talking to us about the observation that energy is neither created nor destroyed, right? It's the observation or the recognition that when we're working through, and this is what we have to recognize or identify as it relates to working into the context of manifestation, right? The observation, and it's like, this is why we talk about, like, one of the things that you have to move away from when you're building into a healthy manifestation is waiting for the perfect circumstance, right? It's not the space by which one looks at a circumstance and says, oh, this isn't the perfect place. It's the observation of the effort that one is able to put in, right? The effort that one is able to put into a circumstance or situation that allows the space of it becoming more energetically ideal, right? And so that observation, right? This is what we see it's a conversation, and this is what I keep on getting with these temperance relationships. The observation that we're effectively identifying with a lot of these circumstances is the energy that values and appreciates the fact that these are energies that are perpetually building into, right? They're building into the fertile ground in the relationship, right? They're perpetually working through it. They're perpetually articulating upon it. They're perpetually coming into the space by which they're able to be energetically adaptable. And even in the space by which they're working upon that adaptability, it's the space by which they're able to arrive into those modalities or those experiences by which they're perpetually building into the sense of energetic consideration. And this is what we do, right? This is what we do with healthy manifestation. Healthy manifestation isn't the space that you go, where is it, right? It's not the space by which you look around and try to identify the circumstances, but it's the ability of being able to see something and say, how can I make this? Like, how can I make this more perfect towards the manifestation goal, right? That's how we pull the manifestation goal towards us instead of coming into the state of seeking it outside of the self. Now, continuing on this pathwork and clarification between our Knight of Cups in its upright in combination with our Chariot card in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? We have here the Knight of Wands in its reversal. So what are we effectively seeing that's happening right now? For a lot of those relationships or a lot of those situations and circumstances that we're identifying and recognizing are working through a lot of this energy. A lot of those relationships are effectively facilitating and identifying. This is going back into those relationships that are working through solitude points right now. And everything I keep on seeing for a lot of those relationships that are building into the context of the self. And it's interesting too, because this is more of the energy that's in solitude, building into those world relationships that are, I keep on getting, they're perpetually, they're identifying themselves, right? Like these are the energies that are identifying themselves as, right? They're identifying themselves as the space by which they themselves are working through things. And I keep on getting, like, this is the energy that is getting better at articulating upon their needs. And why are they getting better at articulating upon their needs? Because a need stated is a need met. And the more that we're able to energetically articulate upon our needs is the space or the ability or the capacity by which we're able to effectively articulate to another what that is. And I keep on getting that even in that space by which we identify or recognize, right? For a lot of the energy that effectively facilitates upon that work, I just keep on seeing the energy that, like, that is the comfort zone that they're stepping out of, right? That is the ability by which they're working to amplify and articulate upon something. But I keep on hearing they're amplifying and they're articulating upon something in such a way that they're trying to, like, I keep on hearing, and I just keep on hearing the same message. I keep on hearing the same message coming through in a lot of those relationships or a lot of those situations, which is when we are articulating from a place of clear manifestation goals as it relates to relationship, right? Healthy relationship is never going to have an aversion to the direction that we hope a relationship can go towards, is all I keep on seeing, right? The modality by which we articulate or refine or define upon something is the space by which we're able to navigate the place of possibility. And this is what I keep on getting. I've got, and it's happening different. I need to stress it. It's like, it feels like for a lot of that energy, um, I feel like this is the energy that's just continuing to say that the work that they're doing, to be very clear in terms of what it is that they're seeking from a relationship, is a shield, right? It's a shield. Because when we articulate what our need, what our desires are in relationship, and another person has aversion towards it, that's not rejection. That's the shield that works, right? That's not rejection. That's the shield that works. And the reason that it's the shield that works is it's because it's when we think about it like that, right? When we think of our manifestation as a shield, then somebody who doesn't like it is going to make you feel energetically rejected in the space by which you articulate it. And that's a good thing, right? That's a positive thing. That's the best thing that could potentially energetically happen. While in the modality by which we experience that, right? This is why we get into the space of understanding and recognizing ourselves, or feeling the ability by which we ourselves feel energetically grounded, because those modalities or those abilities by which we feel that sense of energetic determination, building into the context of healthy stabilization. I just keep on hearing that this is either energy in separation or in solitude that's healing from the falsehood of separation by identifying that they're not in separation, right? They're not in separation because they know what their manifestation goals are. So you're not in separation when you know what your manifestation goals are. You're in a state of preparation and waiting, is what I keep on seeing. And I see that this is the energy that is working through the state or the space of identifying or recognizing the valuation, right? The valuation or the energetic power by which they themselves are effectively working through. But what's interesting about that is even in the context of building into the healthy relationship, that state or that space by which they are able to articulate, like I just keep on getting the same message coming through, which is like, this is like the energy that's pushing out of their comfort zone, and finding that sense of energetic relief, right? I keep wondering, finally someone who gets it, or finally someone that also feels the same way that I do. Continuing to get clarification between our 10 of cups in its reversal with our 4 of cups in its upright. We've got here the Page of Pentacles in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about this Page of Pentacles here, because the Page of Pentacles, I want to define the Page of Pentacles that we see here in its reversal has a lot to do, and I want to describe that this is often what happens in the context of being able to recognize or identify and this is moving us back into those moon relationships. The Page of Pentacles in its reversal speaks to us specifically upon the significance or the importance or the valuation point of our own energetic sense of clarity. And this is what I feel, this is what I keep on getting is a little bit difficult for some of these moon relationships. That adaptability or that energetic power by which they themselves are working through something, but not even in the space by which they're trying to work through something. I just keep on getting the same message that's coming through, which is the energy that effectively articulates and states that when we are in a place by which we're doing everything energetically possible, then the modality by which we understand or navigate our own sense of energetic frustration, it allows the context by which we ourselves feel fortified. And so that's what I keep on getting with that Judgment card in its reversal, with the Page of Pentacles in its reversal. It's identifying and recognizing the facilitation point or the shape of that work. It's the refinement point. And that's what I keep on seeing that's so beautiful about those moon relationships. They see one another and they articulate to one another and say, through you, I can refine further, right? Through the ability of being in this relationship. Like, it's the space by which it's already going so well. And even in the modality by which they do something, they're able to even do it in a way that feels even more. I keep on getting like even more, right? Like they're like, they don't feel like they have to spend the work in trying to get on the same page. They can get straight to the refinement point. While for the energy that is moving deep within divine union right now, that 4 of Cups in its upright with the Knight of Wands in its reversal, we have here the Strength card in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about that Strength card in its reversal, because the Strength card in its reversal has a lot to do, the Strength card in its reversal has a lot to do with working through the energetic vulnerability point of the self. And so the one thing I want to describe, and again, this energy right now feels very Aquarian. And I like to describe when we're going through Aquarian energy, there can be a lot of there's a lot of feelings that come up, right? And a lot of feelings that arrive from the unconscious is what we see. But like, what's beautiful about this, and I like to describe it, like when one is doing, right, when one is doing one's shadow work effectively, like you're not necessarily surprised upon what you find in the unconscious space, right? Like this is what we talk about in relationality to knowing the self, right? It's the observation of being able to recognize and identify what the shape of that work is. So for a lot of the energy that is articulating or defining upon this work right now, and I'm coming, like this is coming through specifically with temperance relationships. This is the energy that observes that even when you're doing everything possible to facilitate the best possible outcome for another, right? Even the shape, right? When energy is projecting, even the shape by which you're identifying and articulating that you're doing everything, another person comes into the space by which they feel like they would require more from, right? Like that modality or that experience of energetic dissatisfaction. I keep on seeing that that's a lot of the energy that is working upon the space of healthy communication of the feelings. And everything I keep on seeing in relationality to that healthy communication of the feelings has to do with the modality or the experience of being able to recognize or identify the shape of that work in terms of how it feels. And that's what I keep on getting. It's like they're clarifying things with each other, right? They're building into the space of navigating that heaviness as it relates to another's like inability to effectively feel energetically supportive towards them. But I like this too because I feel like it's equally proportional in energy that feels like they're receiving that from others, like some energy that feels supportive, while some energy it feels like they're experiencing that pushback from. Final card for today's spread between our Page of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Strength card in its reversal. We have here the Two of Wands in its reversal. So what are we seeing with the Two of Wands in its reversal? The Two of Wands in its reversal speaks to us specifically upon the ability or the way that we energetically communicate, right? Often when we see the Two of Wands in its reversal, it can create, and I want to describe this right now. There is an energy right now that we are navigating that feels by its very nature bleak, okay? Do not internalize the feeling of bleak energy. And the reason that we're experiencing that right now, and I just want to point this out, we've got a lot of planets that have moved into Aquarius, just as we've come into Aquarius season. Pluto is also in Aquarius right now, okay? So it can create the feeling of things being bleak and dire. Bleak and dire, okay? Don't internalize that. Be energetically productive through it. Remember and recognize that there can be many things going on under the surface, and the force of intention, right? The force of intention by which we apply our energetic sense of proportionality helps us define and describe what it is that we're trying to do most effectively. Don't let it frustrate you. Let it fortify you. Bottom of the deck on this reading, we have here the Hermit card in its reversal. So what are we effectively seeing with the Hermit card in its reversal? I'm just going to tell you right now, the desire, I would not be surprised right now if there's a lot of that energy that feels that desire to pull away from things, right? Feels that like energetic weight in relationality to doing something in some way, shape, or form by which one feels energetically heavy or working through something in a way that one feels that frustration or that energetic awkwardness. Don't allow the energetic space by which you're navigating that over internalization of things to effectively like create a rough patch or to create a space by which you yourself aren't able to be energetically adaptable. Because the thing is, and I need to keep on articulating it, this Hermit card in its reversal can often it often can be the space by which we navigate our own sense of like frustration in terms of direction. But the beauty of that, everything I keep on seeing is that modality or capacity, like when we feel awkward, that's where we apply the love, is what I keep on hearing, right? Like that's what we recognize, right? The state of our intention, and this is what I keep on getting right now. Like a lot of those spaces by which we build into uncomfortability, right? And then we feel energetically uncomfortable and we want to shrink away from it. But then even in the modality by which we energetically shrink away from it, and I like to point this out, when we shrink away from things, when we're feeling energetically uncomfortable, we miss the opportunity for another person to put the balm of easement on it. And so I feel like that's something that we see to a certain extent in relationality to being energetically patient, particularly and especially as it relates to feeling or navigating some of this, like I told you, like some of this energy that we're going through that feels, it feels like lucid energy, right? It feels kind of like very lucid and still, but even in that space, being energetically productive through it helps us be able to determine and recognize what's on the other side of it. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you so much for being here and receiving these messages. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site, so I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who participated in our recent class on the World Card. Our next class will be held on Thursday, February 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the sword court cards. If you would like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. Now, it's not necessary to catch up. I do my best to give you an update on everything we've experienced in the cards, everything we've learned prior to beginning the next class. But if you want to catch up, now is a great time to join, as you have about a month between now and that class to be able to learn anything that you're interested in learning before we proceed. You'll also, if you become a founding member, you'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the whole year's worth of classes, but you'll also receive access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive, and you'll also receive access to a one-on-one mentorship class with me where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my Mystic Meditation articles there, which will give you updates on everything we've seen in the cards. I just wrote one recently on this new moon in Capricorn that we're navigating, as well as heading over to my stack to learn more about a very special retreat that we will be having this August. I would like to invite you to join me as we will be traveling to Italy to learn about the tarot in the context and in the land by which the tarot was first documented to be discovered. We'll be sharpening our tarot skills, and not only will everyone who participates in that retreat receive one-on-one education by me, but you will also have the opportunity of receiving a complimentary mentorship class that will be included in that retreat package. Also, if you sign up for that retreat before the end of this month, you will also receive an additional $200 discount on the full retreat package. You can find out all about that over on my stack or in my tree that has links in it in my bio. Finally, I would like to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my students that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. And also for my students that are seeking, also I'm very happy to offer dream interpretation readings, which can be purchased per dream or as a series. If you purchase a series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as you will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow. that is our daily collective read for today. We are going to get started on personal readings. Congratulations. Congratulations to Kath. You got our highest gifter today. And thank you so much, Avatar. You came in second, so you will have an additional card in your reading as well. If anybody else would like to get on the list for today, you will be the third person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing a giveaway today when we get to 50K likes, so make sure you're tapping that screen. We'll get to 50K in no time. We are already at 12.1K likes. Excellent. And welcome so much. Thank you as well for those little crowns, Lucas. Thank you as well, Esteban, for being here and receiving these messages. And Green Gypsy, thank you for the follow. How are you doing today? Absolutely. Welcome. Thank you for the follow as well, Mr. Kevin. Oh, it's exciting. Posted on the disco too. And yes, Mai, thank you for the follow as well. Christina, thank you for those little crowns. And Buddy, thank you for the follow. Relationship work, tap to claim. Thank you as well, Julissa. And Witchy, thank you for the follow. Oh, I appreciate that. Julius, by heart, something shifted for femmes this January. We see it, feel it clearly. 14 years. I feel like there's been shifts for masculine, feminine, and non-binary energy right now. There's a lot of shifts. It's interesting because they're different shifts. And we've been talking a lot about it. I want to point out, this is why I started going back to doing those energetic readings, because I felt like we really needed to start to like understand or unpack what we were seeing that was so different depending on where you were finding yourself. Self-love, thank you so much for the follow. And thank you, Witchy, for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Ayala, thank you for the follow as well. Hi there, Yaz. And Taylor, thank you for the follow. Julius, knowing finally who you become and experiencing you because you make you question. Beautifully stated. And Kay, so good to see you today. Guys, please welcome Armad, Kay, Meg in the room and thank them for all of their help today. Yes, experiencing people, in believing in our process. Absolutely. And Rachel, thank you for the follow. Happy Friday, Ella. Yes, I've been up and down lately, but trying to focus on good little things. Continue to do that work right now, dear. Oh, excellent. So good to see you. Always happy to see you, dear. And thank you as well, Margarita, for the follow. You're so welcome, Salim. I hope these messages help. And again, if I'm ever saying your name incorrectly, by all means, please feel free to correct me. And thank you as well. Excellent. Yes. Bleak is the perfect word for this energy. But that's the thing about it. I need to stress, like, don't over internalize the feeling of bleakness, right? Like we're all experiencing it. And OM, thank you for the follow. And Patty, thank you for the follow. I knew that tuning in for the energy report would explain what the heck has been going on. I'm very glad to hear that it's helping you today, dear, and it's always a joy to see you. And Feather, thank you for the follow as well. Excellent. Yes, and thank you guys for those beautiful gifts during the read. Anyone else on the East Coast getting ready? I know. I mean, I think we're all getting ready for it, Bridget. Absolutely. Hold on a moment. Grand Rising, Miranda. How have you been? It's been a moment. And I've got you on the list today. You'll be the first person on the list. You also have an additional card in your reading. Excellent. And yes, Miranda, the list is open. Wow. That is warm. Okay. All right, my friends, as I mentioned, we are going to get started on today's personal readings. I need to stress I'm keeping the list very close, like very short today. So if you'd like to get on the list, please do so sooner rather than later. And if you want to get on the list right now, it's an absolutely beautiful time to get on the list. You will be the third person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We do here the highest priority messages from spirit, life path, mediumship, dream interpretation, angelic guidance, animal spirit guide readings, pet readings, akashic, mind, body, spirit, and love readings. If you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our reading, you can post that information in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channel. If you are on the hold list and would like to be added back to the list, you can go ahead and let me know the date that you are added to the hold list, and I'll be happy to add you back on it. First person that we are reading for today is going to be It's My. And before we continue with It's My reading, we are going to get started. We are going to do an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the Earth Dragon. Thank you guys for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. Miranda, thank you for getting on the list. You will be the 3rd person read for. If anybody else cares to get on the list right now, you will be the 4th person read for. I'm feeling strongly called to give you one of those cards, and I'm going to pinning up It's My here. Guys, make sure to give It's My some love. We're doing highest, but if you could provide direct relationship correlation to the message. I've got you, dear. Four cards. And one more. And you got one more coming too, because you are also the first person on the list today. You know, this is interesting energy. I feel like there's something very important I'm seeing in relationality to this energy. And I want to stress, it feels very much like the best way I can describe it is it almost feels like it feels like the adaptability point between understanding and recognizing the shape or force of another person's anxiety or trepidation in relationality to something. You know, like that's all I'm effectively interpreting here. And I think that there's something about it. It feels really important. And the shape of that importance that I'm seeing, it feels like it has a lot to do with the observation of being able to define and understand like what we ourselves put our force of intention towards is what I keep on seeing. And a lot of it, like I want to describe, like especially like it's very interesting that we're seeing this particular 6 of Swords, because this 6 of Swords is, you know, and I want to describe like the message is coming through, and it feels like it's coming through strongly from an angelic, which is the observation of understanding, the misunderstanding of energetically bearing something, right? And I keep on hearing the space by which we can energetically bear something is the space by which we can recognize or identify the fact that we see that there is positive change occurring in the context by which we're working on bearing it, right? I keep on hearing anything is bearable so long as there is a very definitive timeline connected or attached to something. And I feel like I know that you specifically asked for a clarification and having this related to relationship. And I feel like it has to do with making sure that you and another person are on the same timeline in relationality to long-term plans, is what I keep on hearing, right? The conversation that says why, like, and this is often what happens when we talk about someday, right? Someday is a day that does not exist. And the only reason that we identify someday, right? And it's interesting too, because and this is actually how I'm getting, like, we've misinterpreted that word. Someday should not be SOME. Someday should not be SOME. It should be SUM. I don't know where it changed, but that's what someday should mean, right? When we say someday this will happen, and why are they articulating that someday should not be spelled SOME but SUM? Because someday, right? The day when the things that are required add up to allow for a manifestation goal to be energetically possible, right? That's what someday is actually supposed to mean. It's supposed to be the unifying factor of the addition that's energetically required to allow a manifestation to come into fruition. And so if that is occurring, if you and another person are having conversations related to utilizing the term someday, right? That is the difference in being able to say to another person, why is someday not today? Because that's why we say someday, which is saying, what is the difference, right? Like, what is the energetic difference between the sum of the things that we're supposed to be arriving to allow a manifestation goal to happen versus where we find ourselves presently? And I feel like there's something really energetically important about that conversation, because I keep on hearing the only reason we apply someday to something is in the modality of saying that there is a block. There is a tangible limitation point that is preventing someday from being today. And that's how we effectively validate another person's someday. Because sometimes when we talk to someone and they say to us, this is what I want. And then we go, that sounds great. When do you want to do that? And they say, I want to do that when these things happen, right? So when these things happen, that's when that can occur. Or when I reach this particular, like when I reach this particular benchmark, right? Then that's something that we can then effectively explore. So the modality by which we're able to effectively articulate and navigate our someday should always be a conversation about navigating the difference in relationality to goal setting. That's a healthy conversation about someday. But when another person speaks upon someday amorphously, right? When another person articulates, be very conscientious of the ubiquitous someday, is what I keep on hearing. And what does that mean? Be very conscientious of the ubiquitous someday is the modality by which another person always says, someday I would like to do this with you. Someday I would like to do that with you. And then you say, well, why can't we do why can't that day be today? You know, like, why can't that day be today? And being like, someday, right? Like the space by which another person just talks about their own energetic readiness. I keep on hearing, Make sure that they're not being ubiquitous in relationality to that readiness, because often when another person articulates and says someday, right, but they don't articulate the reason why someday is not today, what they're really articulating is a fear of energetic commitment, right, or working through that. And so I feel like this is really important. Like the message, it seems like it's coming through to help you heal from some circumstance or situation via V, right? Via V, another trying to effectively, like I keep wondering, like trying to effectively articulate or move something forward. And so I keep on hearing, make sure that you, like I keep on getting, you're in a transitional space right now. So if you're navigating a transition, make sure you're doing so with a sense of proportionality and a sense of, I keep wondering, like proportionality and planning, right? Being like, I'm doing this and this is how long I'm going to do it. It's not going to be forever, which means like if you can say to somebody, like if something feels unbearable, like find the point by which you say, this is the date that I can change it. While also, right, make sure that in conversations that you're having with another person, when you articulate the fact, like even in the space, like, 'cause I almost feel like I see a situation by which you've decided that something is not energetically for you. So the ability of saying to another person, like, how does that impact? Like, how does that impact our own timeline? How does that change what it is that we were working towards? Like, I keep on hearing the modality of experience. Like, I keep on hearing the difference between being in partnership is the difference between someone saying, what are you going to do versus what are we going to do? Right? Like it's the space, it's like the space by which we energetically incorporate towards how it is we're coming into that adaptability state. Bottom of the deck on this reading, we've got here the Seven of Wands in its reversal. And the Seven of Wands, in its reversal, the Seven of Wands in its reversal often speak towards, I feel like it's the observation of doing something and recognizing like there's, and I want to describe this. It's okay, right? It's okay to move towards a manifestation goal and then deciding that one is not in the inclination of being able to energetically maintain it, right? This is, and the reason I keep on hearing this from one of your guides is this is how we define the self. Often we go through processes that we have to, like, I keep wondering, sometimes we need to try something on to recognize and to recognize or identify whether it feels like it fits us. So I don't want you to get frustrated in the modality by which you move towards something and you don't feel like it's the right fit, or you don't feel like it's something that energetically is adaptable to where you yourself are, right? Because that is, I keep on hearing that even in that you're finding yourself, even in that you're energetically recognizing yourself. That modality or that experience by which you work through something, and even in the space by which you work through it, you're able to recognize and identify and understand how you're trying to do something in a greater fashion. Even here, right? Even here, this is you navigating and understanding and coming into that sense of recognition, particularly and especially in terms of feeling fortified in your own power. So make sure that you're not getting hard on yourself, right? Make sure you're getting hard on your direction, is all I keep on hearing. Not hard on the self, hard on the direction, right? Not hard on the self, going hard on the direction is all I keep on hearing. Don't get mad at the self. Get tenacious in terms of where it is that you would aspire to be instead. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those that need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Oh my gosh, Megan, that's wild. Yep. And thank you for the help, Kay. Appreciate it. I got you on the list, Miranda. Thank you for sending that over. I love that deck with a heart. Isn't it great? This is the Tarot del Fuego. Again, and here's the thing about this deck. I love this deck. I absolutely adore this deck. The hard part about this deck is the size of the deck and the stability of the cards. I can't use this deck nearly as much as I would like to because, like, I mean, the size of the cards is very again, it's painful for me because how beautiful the artwork is. The size of the cards is very, very small, and it's like I have to be a little bit gentler when I utilize them because they don't have the durability of the stock that I would usually aspire for. But it's an absolutely, the artwork on it, the artists who did it, absolutely stunning. Highly recommend this deck. Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. Always more comforting than overwhelming. Yes, we're still doing 50K readings, dear. Working on how I bear things. It's hard. But like, here's the thing about it. Like, it's, you know, and I feel like I feel like what we're seeing there is effectively a conversation on what it is that you're bearing, right? Like, make sure if you're bearing something, like, that you bear things when you know there's going to be an easement point, is what I keep on hearing, right? You bear things when you know they're going to get better, right? It's not a perpetual bearing, is what I keep on getting. Absolutely. And thank you, Scuba, for being here and receiving these messages as well. Yes, thank you. Slow steps. Work was amazing yesterday. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. I know it is an absolutely beautiful, it's a beautiful deck. I could not recommend it more. But again, like the size of the cards and the stock, it vexes me. Yeah. I can send. You mean like the cards, like showing the cards? Oh, yeah. I'll send the information in relationality to the deck. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list for today is Kath. Kath, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you would like me to answer. And if anybody else would like to get on the list for today, you will be the third person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. Absolutely. Excellent. How are you doing today, Kath? And also, friends, we are at 16.5K likes. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen, and we will get to 50K in no time. And while we wait for Kath's question to come through, why don't we warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check? I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the water dragon. Thank you guys for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. And Kath, I'm still waiting for your question to come through. So if you've already posted it, okay, I see it here coming through now. Excellent. What's with my energetic connection to them? And if it isn't blocking me, and if it isn't blocking me to meet divine counterpart. I got you. Can I get 4 cards, please? Highest priority messages. Whoa, they came out fast. Wow, all 4. Okay, perfect. You got really strong differentiation of energy coming through on this right now. Um, I'm gonna say this like with absolute clarity. You should not be in a space by which I keep on hearing, you should not have to be in a relationship that constantly requires you to sing upon yourself, is what I keep on hearing. Right? Like I literally see a situation by which it feels like some kind of situation by which another person, right? And I need to describe this. Um, like criticizing, you know, like I keep hearing the criticizing. And I keep on getting, and the thing about it, and I keep on hearing like the what I'm getting in this reading is understanding what criticizing means. Criticizing comes from critical sizing, right? That's why criticizing is so negative. It's critical sizing, right? Which is the modality by which another person says to us, you do not carry the shape that I would aspire you to carry, is all I keep on hearing, right? Like I just keep on getting the same message around something, that criticizing is critical sizing. And critical sizing is the space by which another person, this is why criticizing is so negative, right? Because it is the space by which another person is articulating to us and saying, you don't fit the form that I would aspire you to fit, right? You don't fit the form that I would aspire you to fit. You're not, and often energy like that, right? Often energy like that will give the indication of trying to say in some way, shape, form, or fashion, you are not all like you're not all you're cracked up to be, or you're not all that you like that like that type of energy, you know? Like that you cannot get anywhere. You have to understand, right? And I keep on getting the reason your guides are bringing that forward is they're literally writing, like the thing about it, you can go back there. They miss you like crazy. You're still feeling their energy, because you have to understand they were critically sizing you. They were critically sizing you. They were basically trying to say to you, as long as you do this, as long as you stay within the energetic confines, like as long as you stay within the energetic confines of that which I aspire you to effectively do, then there'd be a place for you in the relationship. But I need to point out, and I keep on hearing this, like your divine counterpart, I'm just going to show you the difference between these cards right now. This is their connection to you, right? This is the criticizing, right? The critical sizing. Somebody that was constantly in that space, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they feel like they turned on a dime on you, right? Like 1 minute being perfectly, like fine, and then all of a sudden, like I keep on hearing, the space by which they were constantly, I keep on getting like constantly coming into that modality of trying to say in one shape, form, or fashion, why don't you fit, right? You're not fitting into what I aspire you to fit into. You're not fitting the form that I desire you to be in. Your divine counterpart is not going to see you in the modality, they're not going to see you in the modality of recognizing or defining. Like I feel like I keep on hearing your divine counterpart is going to recognize that you defy definition. Your divine counterpart is going to recognize that you defy definition. They're not going to be in the space by which they're trying to energetically restrict you. It feels to me like that's the energy that wants to see you, right? Understands. Like I keep on hearing, like somebody who absolutely adores everything that you bring towards them in relationality to the space by which you work to understand the self, is all I keep on seeing. And I'm just keep on getting a lot of that energy that I'm picking up upon there. Um, a lot of the energy that I'm picking up upon there feels very it feels expansive. It feels, and I want to describe this like like so much of what I'm seeing here feels very similar. Like I keep wondering, it feels very similar to the work that we see or recognize and identify in relationality to the observation or the understanding of, I just keep on seeing this, like somebody who sees their expectations. Like, and I keep on, like, that's the difference about it. Like, I see one energy constantly in criticizing. And the thing about criticizing is it always wants to acute, right? Energy that criticizes always wants to acute, and acute means to make smaller. So, like I said, there's still a shape for you in that relationship. Like, that's why you're having a hard time moving away from it. But I keep on hearing, in order to be in that relationship, you would probably feel like you would have to restrict yourself, right? You would have to be in the modality by which you, like, it's giving me like, it's giving me a lot of that, like, it's giving me a lot of that energy of someone being like, aren't you like aren't you upset that you did that kind of thing? Like it's a lot of, it's giving me a lot of that type of energy is what I keep on seeing. Like some kind of modality or experience by which another person, like I would not be, and again, a lot of the characteristics I'm seeing is like, this is a type of energy by which you don't necessarily know, you've done something wrong until until after the fact that you've done it, right? It's like I keep on getting it's a lot of that energy by which they themselves are working through appreciation of counterpart. And I just keep on hearing like a lot of that work. Like it says to me, like I just keep on getting the same message. Someone would deeply desire to have you back, so long as you, like I keep on hearing, like so long as they could be in the space by which you would effectively conform to whatever it is that they wanted you to conform to. The divine counterpart that I see around you, right? It feels much more, it feels much more protective. It feels like somebody trying to amplify and articulate you moving towards your greatest version of self. And something I'm seeing there, like I just keep on seeing this energy, like they're not going to like that past person, is what I keep on seeing, because there's something that that I'm picking up there that says to me that, you know, I keep wondering, they're looking for a counterpart, right? They're looking for someone to do everything with, is what I keep on hearing. Like they're looking for someone to do everything with. And that's like, and that's what I keep on getting, because this past energy, it feels like do nothing. Like it's literally, I'm getting the message that says do nothing and everything will be fine. Right? Like that's the type of energy I'm seeing. Like it's literally the type of energy that goes, just it's fine. Just don't do anything and you'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like it's literally like it's like you having to be in a constant state. I wouldn't be surprised if your nervous system was all over the place with energy like this, because it almost feels like energy that constantly wanted you in a freeze state. Well, this energy is like, I see this energy being like, I want you to like be in the space of surpassing your expectations. I'm here. I hear this divine counterpart saying, I am here to facilitate and protect you living your greatest life, is all I keep on hearing. I'm here to facilitate and protect you living your greatest life. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, there's that devil card in its reversal. Like, and I want to describe like the space by which we work to heal our shadow is directly proportional to our love feeling like love. And I feel like the reason you feel so much of a connection to this person is because they still hold you very dearly, but they couldn't see you clearly. That's all I keep on hearing. They still hold you dearly, but they couldn't see you clearly, which is the observation of effectively recognizing some kind of circumstance or situation by which I feel like it's often like, I would not be surprised, by which I feel like I would not be surprised if that was the energy that was perpetually articulating their own energetic disappointment in you in relationality to things. But I keep on hearing like the proportionality of disappointment related to circumstances and situations by way or by means of understanding and articulating the valuation and power of what it is that we aspire for one another, right? Like this is, I keep on hearing, like no invisible fences in relationship, right? And what is an invisible fence in relationship? An invisible fence in relationship is the space, is like, I like to describe the invisible fence relationship is the relationship by which another person articulates that they aspire to have a relationship with us. But then they refuse to tell us the shape of the relationship and only get really, 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 really upset when we somehow, without knowing the shape of the relationship, somehow step out of the energetic shape of the relationship, right? And that's what I keep on seeing with this type of energy. Like it's literally giving me somebody who wanted an electric, like an invisible fence relationship, which is the energy that says just don't just be too afraid to do anything, right? And you're right. If you're feeling really afraid in that relationship, fear is what is required in order to maintain the partnership, right? It's the energy that says like, it's literally a type of energy that says like you say, like it's a type of, it's like you can't win. It's like the energy you say, what is this? And then going, I'm not going to tell you what it is. And then you step out and then you do something and be like, okay, I guess it's nothing. And then you try to step beyond it and they go, what are you doing? Right? Like that is like, be wary of the invisible fence relationship, which is often articulated in someone who demands commitment from one person, but refuses to give it, right? Demands commitment from one, right? Demands energetic commitment from one, but refuses to give it by by refusing to articulate upon the shape of the relationship. But that's just getting really, really energetically hostile when you do something that does not conform to the invisible relationship that they refuse to articulate that you are inhabiting. Bottom of the deck on this reading, yeah, like I said, that is the shape of that is the sound of a toxic environment. Is what I keep on hearing. That is the toxic environment by which you're working to heal from. And again, it's hard because I bet you are probably going through a lot of that path work saying, I feel like I was constantly doing things wrong and I didn't know I was doing them wrong, right? So like again, and that's a hard part about it. You have to recognize that you can go back to that anytime. It's there. It's just not going to change, you know? Thank you so much for having that reading with me, Kath. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing a giveaway when we get to 50K giveaway. When we get to 50K likes, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective, so make sure you're tapping that screen, and we will get to 50K in no time. The next person we are reading for today is Miranda. Miranda, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. All right. Excellent. All right. Hi there, Julia. How are you doing today? Okay. Yeah, I'm not. It's a good point, Kay. I've thought, I've thought about reaching out to the illustrator themselves to ask if they might have any solutions because I would love. I just want a deluxe edition. I desire a deluxe edition of the cards. Yes. Yeah. Hi there, dear. Good to see you. Yep. Excellent. Welcome, Minnie. Good to see you today. Yeah, we finished the collective. We're on personals right now. The list is also very short for personals. I'll probably only be taking 1 or 2 more people on the list today. So if you'd like to get on the list, please do so sooner rather than later. Yeah, I can see why. Like if every like again, I mean, confirmation is confirmation. If that's what it felt like when you were in connection with someone, you know? Like, and that's why, like, I can see the fact that there's something there energetically by which they would be very happy. They would be very happy to go back to what they had with you. But I don't see that that's a space by which your happiness was being supported. Yeah, absolutely. Hi there, dear. Oh, okay, good to know, Lucas. Yeah, sometimes I thought he's opening my eyes to his perspective. But like, and I want to stress this too. I think that they were, right? But like, I have to point this out. How was the view? You know, how was the view? It's not about whether it wasn't about whether they were trying to open up to their perspective. How was the view? Yeah. Ugh. And thank you guys for supporting each other in the comments. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Understood. Thank you guys. You're so welcome, dear. I hope those messages help. I mean, that was the shape of your past. So that's what I keep on saying. Like that's what I see that you're recovering from the past. But I keep on getting the space by which I keep on hearing the healthy counterpart connection is the space by which like I keep on hearing somebody working through very clear intentions. Like someone who understands that healthy standards allow everything to be possible is all I keep on hearing. Elizabeth, I'm happy to read for you on that. If you'd like to get on the list, list is open. These are donation-based readings. So it's 3 cards for $29 for non-subscribers. And again, if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you will be the second person read for. The next person that we're reading for today, is Miranda. Miranda, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, we do here highest priority messages from Spirit, Life Path, Dream Interpretation, Akashic, Angelic, Mediumship, Love Readings, Pet Readings, Animal Spirit Guide Readings, Mind, Body, Spirit. If you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our readings, you can include that information in the notes when you send a donation. You can also include it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channel. Okay. One moment. Perfect. One sec. And also, if you are on the hold list and would like to be added off the hold list back on the list, you can go ahead and just let me know the date you were put on the hold list. I'll be happy to add you back to the list as well. Excellent. Thank you for those hashtags, Lucas. I deeply appreciate you. Hi, Miranda. And as we wait for Miranda's question to come through, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the horse. Thank you guys so much for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. Okay. Interesting. I want to know about my move. Oh, okay. Will it be good opportunity? I'm moving. I got you. Excellent. Ooh, exciting. All right, perfect. Guys, I'm going to pin up Miranda here. Make sure to give Miranda some love. Four cards, please. Yeah, I mean, this seems, I mean, there's a lot of positives here. We're gonna go through a little bit of what I'm seeing here. So one of the things I'm identifying is I'm not sure where you are currently, but it feels like the vibe has profoundly changed, is what I keep on seeing. Like there's just something here that I'm energetically picking up on, and it just feels like it's just giving me it's just giving me the vibration of like and I feel like it wasn't always like that. You know, like it was something, I feel like it was something you were originally attracted to being somewhere because of um and you know it's funny too because it has to do is I'm actually, you know, it has to do with something that someone commented on in prior to beginning the reading, which is somebody saying like, "Oh, like I thought I saw the sun," which is the modality by which you navigated a space by which you thought that there was like there was some kind of like I want to describe it like there was some kind of feeling of hopefulness somewhere, right? Somebody trying to do something energetically differently, you know? And that's what I keep on seeing that's happened in a situation, right? It almost feels like I keep on getting it feels like I don't know if there's been some kind of mass exodus around something, but it's definitely changed. And I need and the reason I want to bring this up is oftentimes when I see changes like this, I will usually say, no, it's you. Nothing's changed. You're the one that changed. I mean, you have changed, but this is saying to me the external around the area energy around you has shifted, is what I keep on hearing. And not, it doesn't feel like in a positive way. It feels like I don't know why. It feels like a lot of energy, like on like it feels like a lot of energy on edge, or like I keep on hearing like overrun with some kind of feeling of energetic. I like to point. I keep on hearing over. I keep on getting a message from one of your guides, which says over preparedness is anxiety run amok. Is what I keep on hearing. Over preparedness is anxiety run amok. And I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like that is effectively like the energy that I see you navigating either interpersonally or in the energy around you. Like I just keep on hearing the same message coming through, which is over preparedness is anxiety run amok, which is like being like it's too like there's something there that I feel like has got you in that space of feeling energetically on edge. Um, but that's why I'm identifying like it feels to me like this change feels positive specifically and particularly because it like it feels like a revival, you know, it feels like you almost going to a place like it's almost you like it's like you following the feeling that originally brought you to a place in the first place is what I keep on hearing, right? And so that ability, like I keep wondering, like that ability of navigating through something and coming into like that state, I just keep on identifying that there's a lot of that capacity or ability by which I see you effectively facilitating. And even in the context by which one is facilitating upon it, it feels like I feel like it feels like a breath of fresh air. And I almost feel like it's going to make you feel it's going to feel very nostalgic there. Is what I keep it's going to be it's interesting. It's going to feel nostalgic in the way that you felt when you first arrived somewhere. Is what I keep on hearing. It's going to feel nostalgic in relationality to the way that we felt when you originally arrived somewhere. And the funny part about it is, are you guys going to stay there? Because I see somebody else who's kind of on the fence about something, not about you, right? Like I feel like this has been like a hurdle between you and them. Like they were like, I almost see them being like, I'll come to you. And you're like, no, no, you don't want to come here. I'll come to you. It's like, okay. You know, like that's the type of energy, like that's the type of energy I'm picking up on in some way. You know, like I feel like the hard part about it is like I feel like there's something about counterpart that's like you know I don't know I don't know why, but I don't know I feel like there's a lot of that. Like I feel like this energy is like I see them being like, you know what I mean, but but that's what I like, they've been like, I feel like it's the space by which they're not deeply tied. I feel like something happened. They used to be tied to that location and they're not tied to it anymore. Is what I keep on hearing. I keep on hearing somebody say like we could go anywhere. You know, like I literally see someone being like we could go anywhere. Um, and so I feel like there's almost this modality of you going like I want to point out what I'm seeing that's happening. It's like somebody is not sure how they feel about a location, but they only, I feel like you are their home. Like I just see them being like wherever you go I go. Like I see the energy being like where are we going, but I feel like the reason they're saying where are we going is because like they're very much in that space by which they want to like they want to build something forward with you. And I almost get the sense by which um the anxiety, I feel like they carry a lot of anxiety, that they have some kind of fear that when you get over there you're going to feel like they're not all they're cracked up to be. I know that that's not true. Like I know that that's not going to happen, but that's what I'm picking up upon. So I feel like being able to articulate or navigate or speak upon um like that effective sense of like that sense of amplification, or that space by which you yourself are working through. um I keep on getting the same, I keep on getting the same message there, which like it articulates to me that there's something about that that speaks towards like the opening up or the termination of possibility. So I almost see you guys there. Like it almost feels like, I need to point out, like it almost feels like you going there is like a trial run to see if you like it as much as they do, because like it almost feels to me like there's like they're kind of eager for a change too, if that makes sense. Bottom of the deck, yeah, you see, like they're not tied. I keep wondering, they're not tied to that location, you know? And that's what I mean. If there was back and forth, right? I almost feel like if there was some back and forth, them being like, I'll come to you, and you being like, no, I'll come to you, is what I keep on seeing. I feel like there might be another place that work, like, you know what I mean? Like it almost feels like this is a test run. And I don't mean a test run. I need to stress this. I don't mean a test run in regards to the relationship. I mean it means it feels like a test run in regards to the location, is what I keep on seeing. You know, like there's some kind of energetic observation. I almost keep on hearing somebody saying to you over and over and over again, you know, we don't have to stay here. Is what I keep on hearing. You know, so maybe like we don't have to stay here. It feels like somebody who used to have to be there for some reason. And that reason is like it's just not there anymore. So I feel like that is what I keep on identifying and recognizing in relationality to something that's energetically shifting. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. All right. Yeah, it's funny, Lucas, because what you said actually fed into my reading. That was really intriguing. Yes, sometimes those flashes of color deeply add intuition. Taryn, thank you for getting on the list. And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you'll be the next person read for. we did go through a little bit of that, and that's why we settled on a new city for the both of us. So that's okay. Thank you for confirming. Like, thank you for confirming the test run energy. You know, I feel like this is you and them. Like it's saying like this is you and them trying to find that sweet spot. You know. Yeah, I fly to him to move him into our home next weekend. He was happy we chose somewhere new as I am. Excellent. Theme today. Where are we going? Yeah, it's definitely spot on with that. Yeah, that's been me the whole time. We are not stuck anywhere if we don't like it. So like that's effectively what I'm seeing. And I feel like in that way, like there's a little bit of that energy there that feels like it's a relief. Thank you so much for getting on the list, Lydia. The list is now closed. So if anybody gets on the list right now, you will be read for on Sunday. You're so welcome, dear. All right. The next person I'm reading for today is Taryn. Taryn, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And as I mentioned, the list is closed, but if you'd like to go on the list for tomorrow, for Sunday, you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. Also, if you get on the list for the upcoming reading, you will be read for before we start the daily collective. So if you would like to secure an early spot on the list, getting on the list today will secure you a spot on the reading list before we start the collective on Sunday. So Taryn, looking towards that, just a reminder, we never put our autonomy into the cards as it relates to making decisions. We look to the cards for advice and for orientation, not for flat out direction. So if there are areas, what I can do for you is I can read to you the qualities or opportunities that will be ideal for a situation that you're looking for. Or if you have places that you would like me to articulate the positive or negatives upon, we can do it like that as well. Prior to continuing, though, we will warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide card here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the boar. Thank you for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. All right. And I'm going to, yes, understood. That would be helpful. We're thinking Arizona, but I'm not sure if it's right. I got you, dear. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll draw some cards around. We've got 3 cards. So I'll draw cards around that and a piece of advice in terms of locationality. And I'm going to pin up Taryn here. Guys, make sure to give Taryn some love. 3 cards, please. And 1 more. So I mean, I feel like there's something about this. Like, it's interesting because it feels like you're going there because something's easier. I feel like it has to do with something that you do related to work. You know, like there's something to be said about doing something in an area, like something that you're doing currently is over congested, is what I keep on getting. Like something you're doing somewhere, it's hard to stand out, is what I keep on hearing. Like when there's too much of something, even if you can be like the best at something, but then the modality by which there's too much energy doing something or something similar to what we're doing, it's very hard. I keep on hearing it's like I almost see you like trying to get a view on something. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit of this like having to like strain or crane upon something because of some of the energy around you. Like it's a lot of that. That's not going to be a problem where you're going. You know? In fact, I actually feel like there's something, again, it keeps on feeling like I know you want it to be a location. I know you want it to be a location reading, but it feels like it keeps on moving into a profession reading. And the reason I keep on seeing it moving into a profession reading is because they keep on saying that something that you do currently that makes it feel like it's hard. I keep wondering, it makes it feel like it's hard to stand out is not going to be a problem where you're going. I feel like it's almost immediately like something about, like, I keep on getting like an immediate uplift as it relates to an opportunity, potentially and especially like connected to something in the professional realm is what I keep on seeing, because I just keep on getting that there's less I keep on hearing less competition in some kind of area that you're in, and more like less competition and more appreciation is what I keep on seeing. Like, it almost feels to me like there might be a little bit of tug of war energy that you haven't experienced there before in relationality to some kind of demand on your time and energy, right? I feel like there's like, it almost feels like a complete sea change between like the space by which I feel like you're having a hard time gravitating upon things versus others like effectively demanding or asking something of you. Um, there's something. There's something to be said. There's something to be said about this. There's something important to be said in relationality to this. Um, I don't like. Are you going like? Are you going through a conflict with another person? Is what I'm seeing. You know, because it feels like fresh start energy. I don't know who this is. Like, it feels like it's hard to get like. I keep wondering, it's hard to get over things when we're in proximity to them. You know, it's harder. You have every right to feel like it's harder. Especially, I keep wondering, especially if like there's a possibility of you bumping into them, like on any given day, is what I keep on seeing. Like I feel like there's something to be said there, and I keep on hearing I almost feel like I see you trying to like navigate another person asking for space. Um, you know, it's I don't like I don't like the one thing I keep on hearing is like make sure that you and another person are effectively like make sure you and another person are working through the understanding of um what is happening between you and them, particularly as it relates to healing things. I need to point this out. Relationships do not get like relationships don't get healed by space. Like the work that we do um, to facilitate healthy partnership is like going deeper into something, like not pulling away from it. So, like make sure someone is being very clear in terms of what they want is what I'm seeing. Because the one thing I can already see some kind of situation, like you can't like make sure you don't have the situation by which like and this is what I keep on seeing, like we're either in each other's lives or we're not in each other's lives is what I keep on getting, because the modality by which like and I keep on hearing like the space by which we articulate the shape of the partnership we desire is something that we recognize that works through the mutuality of things. And I keep on getting that there's something really important there in terms of another person. Like, it almost feels like you having to have a conversation with someone in terms of saying like I still want you in my life in some capacity, right? Or working through something and saying like, well, you know, we have to be clear. Like, we have to be clear in terms of who we are to each other is what I keep on getting, right? Like I keep wondering the shape of a relationship. Like, a relationship can take many different forms, but those forms must be consensual, right? It's not like we don't exist in a ubiquitous space. We understand and we recognize exactly what we are to one another. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, you know, I feel like I feel like I see you and another person in wildly different experiences right now. And I just want to give you, like, I know that this isn't a relationship reading, but I need, like, I've got a guide that's trying to, like, I've literally got one of your guides that's trying to, like, turn one of you around to face the other person, which is, like working through the space of understanding that when we are exhausted, right? When we are exhausted, we cannot, we're not invested in seeking fun, is what I keep on hearing, right? When we are exhausted, then we are not invested in seeking fun, which is the identification point that you never want to get into an energetically balanced, like you cannot feel like, I keep wondering, you should never feel like a second class citizen in your relationship. And what does it feel like to feel like you're a second class citizen in your relationship? A second class citizen in a relationship is a situation by which one person is just working tirelessly, like working to the point of exhaustion, just trying to scrape by, while another energy is in a space by which they're looking for something to do with their time. This will break. This will profoundly break a relationship because it creates a space by which you're living in two completely different realities. The modality by which another person looks at someone and goes, "You're not fun anymore." And another person saying, "I don't have the opportunity to be fun because I'm working so energetically hard." Right? That is literally the sound of relationship breaking because it's a modality or experience of navigating a situation by which two energies can be in a relationship and be having profoundly different experiences in the same relationship. So I feel like that's what you and another person need to address. I see one person being like, you don't ever want to do anything fun. And you have to say to them, if you want me to do something fun, feed me, is what I keep on hearing. Like, if you want me to do something fun, come into the space of energetically building into the sustainability point, because you can't ask for both. You can't ask for the modality by which another person is putting all of their intention in trying to do something and then be surprised when someone isn't in the space by which they're looking towards situations or circumstances that build into a space of levity, right? Like that, I keep wondering, the hierarchy of needs, right? The hierarchy of needs dictates that when we're trying to survive, the last thing we're thinking about is doing something from a state of delight or doing something just because we can. So I feel like you need to have a conversation with someone about the fact that you're currently in a relationship that you're having vastly different experiences, and especially if there's a financial, I keep wondering, especially if there is a financial difference between you and them, is what I keep on seeing. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those that need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed, but if you get on the list for Sunday, you'll be the first person read for, and you'll also be read for prior to us beginning the daily collective. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. One moment, please. Yes. But I do feel like, the location that you're, like like I said, like when I was talking about something getting easier, a location change like that might help a situation of that nature. And thank you for the follow, Cindy. Yes, I woke sending you so much support on that journey, dear. You're so welcome, Danza. Thank you. You're so welcome. All right. Thank you as well, Taryn. All right. We're going to continue right now. The next person on the list for today is Lydia. Lydia, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And also, friends, we are at 18.6K likes. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen and we'll get to 50K in no time. All right. And second call right now for Lydia. Okay. If Lydia is not here, oh, I got you, dear. And before we continue, Good to see you. Hope you're well. We're going to warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide card here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the goose. Thank you for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. And I'm going to pin you up here. Guys, make sure to give Lydia some love. 3 cards, please. You know, I feel like I see you kind of facilitating upon or working through something in such a way by which you're recognizing or identifying, like you're getting much better at understanding yourself, is what I keep on seeing. And the thing about it is, you being able to articulate and recognize something with a sense of clarity is effectively, I feel like it's working through something in the context of being able to be very, very specific and clear in relationality to what you are looking for. And I want to point, and it feels, again, it feels very much, I keep wondering, pay attention, like beware, pay attention to somebody who goes out of their way to circumvent directions, is what I keep on seeing. And what do I mean by someone who like goes out of their way to energetically circumvent directions? It's like the modality by which you ask for something and then someone does something and you're like, what did you do? And being like, well, you didn't say not to do that. And being like, I didn't think I had to, is what I keep on hearing. Right? Like we should never, like it should never be the space, like it should never be the space of another person being like, well, you never said not to, being like, but you shouldn't, you just should know, like I shouldn't have, like it's like you almost saying something, I shouldn't have to, right? Like it shouldn't go, we should not, the space by which, right? And I keep on hearing, if we're ever unsure, we energetically check with one another, is what I keep on seeing. Like when we're not sure of things, we effectively articulate and define so that we can do something energetically better. And something I keep on seeing about that, it feels like it feels very conducive to that type of work. It's almost like I see you building into like the space by which you're trying to help another person, right? And I like to point this out. Like sometimes when we see this tendency in another, like this is what'll create the space by which we just turn around and walk away and keep on walking, right? Because I want to describe this. When you're going, like your guides are clear on this. When you experience something like that, you always want to calibrate for giving someone the benefit of the doubt, is what I keep on seeing, right? The modality by which we work through something and we navigate something difficult, like don't make an immediate frustration point in terms of something that you're identifying that needs to be worked upon. Like don't put intention where intention doesn't exist, but also be specific on what you saw, is what I keep on hearing. Don't put intention where intention doesn't exist, but also be specific in relationality to what you witnessed, is what I keep on saying. Because here's the thing about it. Working through someone, right? Like working through the space of saying to another, like, I want to give you my perspective. Like, I want to give you my perspective on what I saw occurred, right? I want to give you a full perspective of clarity in terms of how I saw things from my perspective. And what's beautiful about that is another person can articulate and say, like, I can see. And this is how you can usually tell if someone's intentions are pure. Because when someone's intentions are pure and you bring something to their awareness, their immediate, the healthy response is, oh my goodness, like I did not realize, like it's the modality by which another person, like the space by which another person perceives something That the response should be mortification, right? It's like the response should be like mortification, or the space by which another person like articulates and says like, I didn't want you to have that impression, and they'll often work to try to correct it. But when another person, when you show something to someone, right? When you show something to someone, and immediately in the space in which they show it, they immediately start coming into the argumentative space, right? Like when they immediately start trying to like I keep on hearing, even in the space by which they get hard on themselves, right? Like pay attention to someone by which you show them something, and then they immediately like go into the space by which they start talking about like how bad they are, like how much, like how awful they are. That's a distraction, is what I keep on hearing. Pay attention to that distraction, right? Because the modality, like when we articulate, right? Like when we articulate upon something that needs changing, like don't let another person going into the emotions of articulating about how awful they are move away from the fact that that's not the conversation, is what I keep on hearing. I literally see a situation of you having to say to someone, like, I didn't articulate that to make you feel bad about yourself. And in fact, you articulating that how bad you feel moves us away from being able to have the clarity of understanding the who, what, why, or where it happened, right? So make sure that you're being conscientious about that, because I keep on seeing healthy energy. When energy is building into healthy intention, they will be clear. They will be corrective. They will be specific. They will articulate upon the fact that there's something that needs to change. They will amplify. And I keep on hearing an apology. An apology is a two-step process, right? It's the apology that says, this is what I should have done, and this is what I'll do going forward. Anything that is not those things is not an apology, including, right? Including a tendency for another person to fall into themselves in terms of articulating how bad they feel about something, instead of giving you the clarification as it relates to the invested direction that they apply to put forth going forward. Bottom of the deck on this reading, yeah, especially with the Knight of Cups and its reversal, I just keep on seeing that a lot of that energy there, like potentially, I keep on hearing like somebody falling apart in the modality by which you impart to them your perspective is not an apology. And I know it can sometimes feel, right, because often it's very convenient, because the space by which another person is falling apart, and then you say, but this isn't what we're talking about, and them saying, oh, you're being so cruel at this time, can't you see how this affects me? Yeah, but that's the convenient point, right? Don't let somebody shift the narrative in terms of like the space of you comforting them in the space by which they should be apologizing to you. And if you're experiencing that, recognize it for what it is what I keep on seeing, right? That is I keep on saying that's a deflection, right? The space by which another person, you try to bring something up and immediately like they become emotional, and then in the space by which you say like, this isn't what we were talking about, being like, how can you be so cruel, right? That is the modality of another person that's utilizing their emotions to shift the energetic narrative. So now you're too busy, like now you have to kind of work on helping them through how they're feeling instead of having the productive conversation. Just be attentive to that happening, and if you see it, like just move away from it. Like let that observation fortify your own sense of direction, right? You can see it once, but if you see that happening again and again, like that is literally the sound of somebody that's effectively like utilizing their emotions as shield to have productive conversation. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, Lydia. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed, but you can get on the list for Sunday, and you'll be the first person read for on Sunday. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. The next person, we're now moving to one card readings for subscribers. So if you are a subscriber who would like a card pulled, go ahead and put your question in the comments. If you would like to become a subscriber, all you need to do is hit that super fan status at the bottom of the screen, and your super fan status will make you eligible for a one card. I got you, dear. I'm just reading over the comments that came through as it was reading. Continue to do that work, Wild. And thank you, AML, for the follow. This sounds like a kinder, gentler way of saying dismissive avoidance, potentially. But I know I don't want to articulate it as dismissive. It's not dismissive. It's like explode. It's like emotional avoidance, right? It's the emotionality that creates a wall that allows to be able to avoid putting work into things. Yep, angelic guidance, please, for Ivana. We've got the Six of Swords in its upright. So I feel like this card keeps coming up for you when I read. Like I just keep on getting a lot of past recall to help you have modalities of perceiving things in a different way. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, it's like I keep on hearing the angelic energy isn't bringing the past back to hurt you. They're bringing the past back to show you something, is what I keep on hearing. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, especially with the bull energy, right? Like it almost feels like energy saying like, I want to show you like how right you were about something. You know, like I want to show you like our perspective on it. It's like almost like the guide showing you that view. Okay, Megan, one card, guide led on how to heal, please. We've got the King of Wands and it's upright, working on communication. As long as your emotions have directions attached to them, they're going to help you recognize and utilize discernment in terms of who is honoring them and who is not. Bottom of the deck, Tower card in its reversal. Like not being hard on yourself for having feelings, honoring the feelings because they show you who, like what modality by which you yourself are working through versus what it is that you're trying to resolve upon. Animal spirit guide. We've got the Swan energy. So working through modalities or experiences by which you're recognizing and you're trusting your own sense to be able to identify the smoothness. Like I keep on hearing, like by identifying, like allowing yourself to heal from rejection, right? Let the rejection observe your direction. Don't feel like it's your job to try to prove to another person why you deserve to be treated well. Bridget, one card, highest priority, please. The Three of Cups. I feel like this is you kind of finding energy that's in alignment to you. You know, and I think that a lot of that work that I'm seeing is requiring healthy communication. Yeah, especially with the Temperance energy. Like, I feel like this is you getting more specific in terms of being able to articulate upon what you are and are not available for, especially as it relates to conversation. Animal spirit guide, the Goose. Yeah, like I keep on hearing the same message when I read for you. Like if you like some tea parties you won't be invited to if you don't like bitter tea. Like if you're not in the space by which you bring out negativity, like it's just the space by which that's like I almost feel like you finding energy that's in alignment to you as it relates to productive conversation. Miranda, general card pull, please. We've got here the Hierophant in its upright. So this is working through situations or circumstances of, I feel like this is you getting more committed to a path in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or getting very serious about things. Bottom of the deck, yeah, Death card, right? Like, I feel like this is also you like working to clarify or heal from some kind of anxiety that you were carrying. You can't miss what's for you. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, we've got the Bee energy. So I almost see you like working in the space of navigating or articulating upon, like this is you honoring your feelings. But I keep on hearing honoring your feelings in a way that you're leaving situations better than you found them is all I keep on hearing. Ella, one card, please. Career path. Highest priority. We've got the Three of Wands. So I feel like, I don't know, are you thinking about moving locations? There's something about a destination here. Yeah, especially with the Five of Wands. Is there something you're doing that would be easier to do? Like it's very similar to the reading I did earlier, which says sometimes when there's like a lot of energy doing the same thing that we're doing, the place that we're doing it in makes it harder, not easier. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, especially with the Earth Dragon, you know. like finding, like this is you finding or work through a healthy work-life balance. One card for love, for grace, please. This feels like identifying or recognizing, um, like how one is trying to do something better, or what one is effectively working through, or the space by which one is able to identify or recognize, like this is you getting more confident in being able to articulate upon your needs. Yeah, especially with that Knight of Cups energy, right? Like um this is the emotionality, right? This is I feel like in a way you're getting better at navigating uncomfortable conversations, because I keep on getting that there's uncomfortable conversations allow for clarification. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, again, that bee energy, right? Like honor your feelings, communicate upon them, allow the feelings, right? And it has to do, I keep wondering, it has to go back to that someday, right? Conversations in relationality to the sum that would make someday today. And Queen, one card, highest priority. We've got the King of Pentacles in its reversal. So I feel like this feels like it's building into the context of finding a healthy balance, particularly and especially as it relates to, uh, I feel like this is you like building into um, like a sense of energetic confidence, or getting better at articulating upon something that you're energetically confident about. Bottom of the deck, yeah, especially with this World card, you know, it's saying to me, like, I keep wondering, you can't get anywhere with energy that doesn't want to hear anything, is what I keep on getting. Animal spirit guide, yeah, especially with the boar, right? Like it's almost articulating to me, um, like some kind of work that you're doing in being able to define or articulate, like I keep wondering, like the shape of what it is that you're trying to do, but not only the shape of what it is that you're trying to do, how you're trying to do it, and the way that you're trying to effectively like implement some kind of change upon something, right? It's saying the same thing. You can't, you having a breakthrough is going to create the space of others who articulate that they don't like like you are doing a breakthrough is the energy that's like going to articulate the fact that you're doing something wrong, right? But that's why I keep wondering, when you're innovating, right, it's often having to push back and energy being like you're not doing it correctly, is what I keep on hearing. Hi there, Adele. Absolutely, thank you, dear. Avatar, 1 second. One card, highest priority. I got you, dear. We've got the Chariot energy, so this is speaking towards being able to amplify or articulate upon, I keep hearing like the sense of direction, but not just the sense of direction. I feel like this is you getting better in terms of being able to communicate to another like what those plans are, is what I keep on seeing. There's something, I feel like there's something very significant and important upon building into the sense of stabilization as it relates to working towards healthy direction. Yeah, Ace of Wands, right? You articulating your manifestation goals is going to bring you towards the energy that's in alignment to you, right? Like there is no like when we have a healthy manifestation, there is no rejection, because when we have navigate rejection, it just moves us closer to direction. Animal spirit guide, especially with the frog, potentially, like I feel like this is you working through something in terms of getting more consistent with yourself, or doing something in a way that you haven't done it before, right? Like it's saying to me, like it's almost like it's consistency and adaptability at the same time. So being adaptable in terms of something that you're consistent upon that allows you to effectively fine tune what it is that you're working on. Julia, one card, highest and best, please. We've got the King of Wands and it's upright. So this is speaking upon you getting better at being able to communicate, or being able to like allow some kind of like, it feels like some kind of creative endeavor, or having conversations in relationality to creative endeavors. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, especially with that Ace of Wands, right? Like speak it and they will come, right? Building into the space of getting very solid and stable in terms of articulating to another what it is that you're trying to do so that they can help you get there. Animal spirit guide, please. Yeah, especially with the boar, right? Like being like, I keep on hearing like giving something. I feel like giving something just enough, like giving something just enough energy that allows it. I keep on hearing giving something just enough energy that allows it to change tremendously is what I keep on seeing. Like don't get hard on yourself. Get persistent. Absolutely. And Julia, I got you, please. One card. I've got the Five of Wands here, so I feel like this is a lot of work that I see in terms of you navigating. I keep on hearing we can't navigate the conflict. We can navigate. There's conflict. There's energy that we either like. There's a difference between creating conflict and energy being conflicted about us. Is all I keep on hearing. There is a difference between creating conflict and energy feeling conflicted about us. And I just keep on seeing like that is the shape of some kind of work that you're doing, which is understanding that you could be doing nothing wrong, and someone feeling energetically conflicted because of the space by which they're like, often energy that's like conflicted like that is the space by which another person is like, I keep on hearing inappropriately demanding our attention. Yeah, like you're going through a maturation process. And I keep on getting often the space by which you work through a maturation process is working through another's hard feelings because you're maturating, right? Because you're changing, because you're energetically progressing through things. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, there's that frog energy again, right? Don't be upset if you're the bitterness in another story, if they cannot articulate what they would have energetically preferred, right? Because that's what I keep on seeing. If someone can't articulate what they would have preferred, then it's an observation that that's something that they need to work upon internally. You're so welcome, dear. Hi, Anna. Got you. One card advice on higher self regarding productivity. I got you, Yaz. I feel like there's something important there with the Page of Swords in relationality to being able to articulate and define upon what one is trying to do better. But I keep wondering, not just what one is trying to do better, how one is trying to do it. Like there's a lot of work I see that you're navigating or working through right now as it relates to like communicating or identifying, like this is you getting more professional about something is what I keep on seeing. Yeah, and I keep on hearing healthy energy, like I feel like I keep on hearing your guides want you to take yourself seriously is what I keep on hearing. Your guides want you to take yourself seriously. Bottom of the animal spirit guide on this. Yeah, especially with the hawk energy. Like I just keep on seeing some kind of situation or circumstance by which like you and another, like I keep wondering, like you and another person, like you taking yourself professionally, yourself professionally will energetically turn heads is what I keep on seeing. It's the space by which you understand, right? It's like you're going to have to just kind of like, I feel like it's you kind of getting over some kind of imposter syndrome in relationality to you not doing something well, doing something differently is often the space, like I keep wondering, well, like well or differently, right? If you do something effectively but in a different way, that has nothing to do with you not being good at something. You're not good at doing something the way another person tells you to do it. Got it. Sending you support on that journey, Ella. And thank you, Nicole, for the follow. You're so welcome, Grace. You stay warm as well. You're so welcome, Queen. I got you, Ava. Affirmation on career for Ava, please. I feel like this is you, I feel like this is you kind of figuring out, like becoming, I feel like this is you becoming a specialist in something. But I like to point out a specialist is someone who brings a lot of different things together, is what I keep on seeing, right? Like this is you kind of working through, like, I almost see like this is you kind of working through, like bringing something together in relationality to how you, like how you communicate or articulate upon yourself is what I keep on seeing. Yeah, especially with this page of swords energy. This page of swords energy is like I feel like this is you, like this is you getting much more focused in terms of how others view you is what I keep on seeing. And thank you, chat. And again, animal spirit guide on that, Ava. Yeah, remember like with that rate, like the Raven card that we're seeing, you know, something that I'm observing there has a lot to do. Like I feel like I see something that has a lot to do with the shape and nature of, I keep wondering like the shape and nature of your own feeling of like getting, I keep wondering getting over the space of another person articulating that you're doing something incorrectly. It's very similar to what I was saying with Yaz's reading, right? Like finding that point by which you're like able to identify what works for you and kind of being strong in that is what I keep on seeing. Like that's you finding your strong suit. Amazing, Nikki. One card on partnership, please, for Nikki. We've got the Tower card in its reversal. So I feel like this is you, like this is you working through some kind of feeling of, I feel like this is you working through some kind of feeling of like helping, I keep wondering, helping another person see their patterns is a beautiful gift because it allows us the ability to do something in a better way. Bottom of the deck, yeah, especially with the Nine of Swords, right? Right? The observation, like this is what I keep on hearing, like the space by which we say, like I see an unhealthy pattern like evolving between us that I would like to correct, right? Like coming into the space of being, I keep hearing being directive and corrective, rather than energetically emotional is what I keep on getting. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, especially with the blank manifestation, right? Like being able to navigate something not from an emotional place, but from a logical one. Thank you so much, dear. All right, my friends, final call for anyone who has not had a card pulled today, who would like a card pulled, who is a super fan. If you are a super fan and you just became one today, welcome. I would encourage you to head over to, I got you, Lucas, one card, please. Your standards are standards for a reason. Energy that's in alignment to us does not get upset when we articulate our standards. They respect us for having them. Yeah, especially with the Five of Pentacles. Like this is speaking to me about working through modalities or experiences by which, like, I keep wondering, like you're navigating through your own abandonment wounds, or you're not letting, like, I feel like it's like you're getting better, like you're getting better at working through like the hurdle of an uncomfortable circumstance in order to find better is what I keep on hearing. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, especially with that blank manifestation goal, right? Like not getting hard on yourself, just building into the present context is what I keep on seeing. Excellent. All right, my friends, we've reached the conclusion of our reads for today. I want to thank you so much for being here and receiving these messages. We'll be off tomorrow, but I'll be back on Sunday at 6 p.m. 7:15 a.m. PST, 10:15 a.m. Eastern. If you would like to get on the list for Monday's readings, you getting on the list today will secure you a reading spot before the Daily Collective on Sunday. If you became a superfan today, welcome. I would encourage you to head over to our superfan only disco channel, introduce yourself to the collective. You'll also find in the perks section a special coupon code that will provide you with a discount to our tarot class subscription program. Our next class is going to be held on Thursday, February 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the sword suite of the court cards in the sword suite. And if you are not a subscriber but would still like a coupon code, I have a unique coupon code you can that is not as much as the subscriber code. You can receive that here from this live by messaging me the word class. And if you'd like to learn more about the trip that we're hosting in August, message me the word trip. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. Huge thank you to my followers, old and new. Thank you for being here today and sharing in these messages. Huge thank you. Welcome to those. Hello there, Chair Bear and Andrea. Thank you for also being here today. Hope you enjoyed these readings. Huge thank you to my subscribers. Your ongoing support means the absolute world to me. And the biggest thank you to my mods. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another, and we will do this again tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.